John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington has the deal you've been waiting for on your brand new Ram 1500. Ready for this? 25% off. John Heister in Lillington has 25% off all new 2024 Ram 1500s right now. That's like getting a fourth of your new truck for free. That couldn't be more worth getting off your keister for. So get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington for 25% off your new Ram 1500. Cheer on Duke football as they take on the SMU Mustangs under the lights on Saturday, October 26th. Game time is set for 8 p.m. There's only 2 home games left in the regular season. Don't miss your chance to see the Blue Devils at Brooks Field at Wallace Wade Stadium. Add the Devil's Deck in-stadium experience to your ticket and receive exclusive access to the end zone tailgate space with all-you-can-eat food and drink. Tickets are available now at goduke.com/footballticks or by calling 919-681-BLUE. Duke football. Bleed blue.
$5, that's some deal, yeah. I got McDonald's money. One meal just to make me feel better. All I wanna know is, can I get a hot and spicy patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow, yeah, McDonald's don't miss, yeah. Order on the app or the drive-thru quick, yeah. $5, that's some deal, yeah. I got McDonald's money.
At participating McDonald's. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
Jordan Moore delivers, and the Blue Devils have the lead!
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford and by Amedios.
From the Canes to the Panthers to all of the college sports in the Triangle, we cover it all on the Best of the Drive with Tim Donnelly podcast. Brought to you by Coach Pete at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Visit us at capitalfinancialusa.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score!
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Now Svechnikov, side of the net, working his way closer. Back for Aho, Gostisbehere. We have a lane, he takes it, he scores! A scary shot from Shane Gostisbehere, and there's your power play goal trip. Carolina has cut the lead to 1, and that is 3 in a row for Shane Gostisbehere.
Well, as we venture towards Halloween, why say it any differently? The ghost just keeps saying boo.
This is the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Oh, hello, everyone. Happy almost Halloween. It's not really almost Halloween yet. Although, wow, 9 days away?
It is almost Halloween.
My gosh.
I've got one of my Halloween shirts on.
You do? Well, you've basically worn you've either worn a Halloween shirt or a Cubs shirt.
Yes.
Every day since the month of October has begun.
I usually have Halloween shoes if I'm not wearing a Halloween shirt.
Yeah,
that's where we're at.
Look, I'm here for it. It's fun.
Yes.
Gosh. You don't have any trick-or-treaters where you live.
Oh, no.
All right, and we don't have any trick-or-treaters where we live. So all the Halloween decorations are personally for
us. Aileen and
for
I.
the house. Yeah, and she asks me how did my witch look every time I drive up the driveway.
Yeah,
because we get home, with different things that Jack's doing. We pulled in last night. It was 8:30.
Yeah.
And come up the driveway, and boom, there's the witch.
Yeah.
How's it look? Right. Is she leaning one way or the other? Right. Like, nope. Our witch leans forward.
Okay.
Very progressive witch.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's Jack's 16.
Right.
the last time he even asked about trick-or-treating, and we went, was like 4 years ago. I don't think he trick-or-treated at all as a middle schooler.
Yeah.
But when he was in 6th grade, we went and we had friends like in Wake Forest. We live north of Raleigh, where the show, for those people who are listening in Asheville or Wilmington or wherever you are, Greenville, we're based in Raleigh. The studios are inside the Beltline in Raleigh. We're not downtown.
No.
More of a business area.
Grateful for that. I hate parallel parking. I can do it, but I hate it. I can actually do it. A lot of people can't.
I could teach you class. Look, and you grow up in the New York area, it's basically all you got.
Second nature.
So we went to Wake Forest. They have a great trick-or-treating route.
Yes.
That a lot of people who live in more rural areas will drive to Wake Forest and trick. There's a lot of old houses, big stately mansions, and people do it up. So I give those people credit.
Very cute.
It is a really cool thing to do. But we are 9 days away from even thinking about that. But Jack hasn't even talked about there's no parties that his friends are going to.
I was going to say, does he dress up? Like at school, do they have a thing? I mean, I'm going to dress up.
He's a 16-year-old kid. The 16-year-old boy, he is not about dressing up.
I mean, it's a good excuse to be silly.
And it used to annoy me when kids would come to our 16-year-olds would come to our door when we did have trick-or-treating. And they'd have like a pillowcase.
Yes.
And they just have charcoal written on their face, cover their face. That was it.
Right.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
What are you?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Ghosts. Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Like if somebody had been creative and said, forget the name of the character from Mary Poppins, Dick Van Dyke's, I'm a chimney sweep.
Right. That would be perfect.
Right? I would be like, you know what?
I got you.
Spoonful of sugar for you.
Yes. Do a little dance because, Dick Van Dyke could dance. So.
Absolutely. I don't know, whatever. We're on YouTube. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. You can throw a comment in the comment box. We'll talk to you. I will ask this question. For those who are joining us on YouTube, or if you're doing it the old-fashioned way on the radio, how are we feeling about Dave Canales? Like, I think I asked this question, it might have been in week 3. But I really, really liked what I saw from the Falcons game, and I have a hard time processing that the same team, albeit it was a loss, that the same team that played the Atlanta Falcons went to Washington and laid that egg.
Did that.
I have a hard time with it, and I had a hard time with the postgame. I had a hard time with the process, and I'm just not sure. I'll say it this way. I want to believe that they got the head coaching job, the decision right.
Me too.
That Dave Canales is the guy that will take them. I want to believe that. I have seen too many things over the first third of the season, because that's basically where we are, that maybe 40%, but that lead me to believe that maybe 5 years guaranteed was 4 too many.
Yeah.
So
can't get it out of my brain. Proud of my guys. Just from yesterday. Proud of my guy. What are we proud of?
We had great practice.
What?
Remember, was it after week 2? We had great meetings.
Great meetings.
What?
Why?
What do you mean great meetings? Nobody cares about your great meetings. There isn't a single person who works for a company that has too many meetings. And I'm not saying that we do, because we don't.
Mm-hmm.
The guy in the corner office, right down the hall there, who's actually on the radio from 9 to 10. If he doesn't here's 30 minutes of your day back.
Right.
Like,
I love it. I appreciate that.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Nobody cares about your meetings.
No.
Nobody. Your fans want your team to play well. Nobody cares about how great the meetings were.
No.
Anyway, so my question to you, YouTubers, fans of actual, the Marconi radio, are you cool with your coach?
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that, and let's start. I'm going to start with what's going to happen tonight, starting at 9 o'clock Eastern Time in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, where the Carolina Hurricanes will take on the exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We have others. The big boss will point out that the North Carolina Courage, NC Courage, are Major League Sports, and he's not wrong.
True.
He is not wrong. And congratulations to
Charlotte FC.
Charlotte FC is not in the 8-9 play-in game. They will go to Orlando City for the first match. It's either Friday or Saturday. I have to go look at the schedule again. I think it's Saturday. So good luck to Dean Smith and the lads. All right, so the Hurricanes are in Edmonton tonight. This is the real start of this Western Canada stretch. Edmonton, night off. Calgary, night off. Seattle, night off. Vancouver, night off. You would think, theoretically, the team that was in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals last year, the Edmonton Oilers, this would be the toughest one. And I think it will be, although I think all 4 games will be very, very difficult to win. The Oilers are 2-4 and an absolute mess on special teams. The power play that was seemingly clicking at about 147% during the postseason.
Got them through the postseason.
Right? And the penalty kill, which was almost perfect through the postseason. They're disaster both ways. 1 for 15 on the power play. They have killed only 11 of 20 on the penalty kill. When I went and did the research for tonight's game, I was stunned by how poor their special teams are. Little bit later on, we'll check in with a guy who covers the Oilers. Is that goaltending or is that just poor special teams play? I mean, it's got to be a combination of the two.
Another area they should have addressed, goaltending.
Well, they decided Stuart Skinner played very well in the playoffs. They decided that he was the guy.
Yeah.
You remember when we had John Forsen on before the season. I'm like, everybody loves Edmonton, and I said, am I the only one who is not confident that they have a goaltender that they can rely on? And John was like, nope, that's why I don't pick him either.
Yeah, he's not reliable.
John and I are in the same boat. We both like Dallas in the West. There's a lot of teams to like in the West, although Colorado and Nashville, both off to dreadful starts.
Oh, bad.
Colorado has won 2 in a row. Nashville is 0-5. That I can't figure out.
No.
We saw that team in the preseason when they came here, brought like almost their whole team.
Yeah.
Right. You've got Stamkos, you've got Marchessault that they brought in as free agents, along with Brady Shea. They still have Roman Josi. Goaltending is good, and they're 0-5.
I don't get it.
Can't. It's baffling to me. Anyway, so the Canes are in Edmonton tonight, and I thought I would just very quickly bring up 2 positives and a negative about the team. And Mike Maniscalco is going to join us in 20 minutes, so I'm not going to go very long here. 2 positives and a negative through 4 games. First positive, and look, there's a lot of things we could talk about, but I'm just going to narrow down 2 positives, 1 negative. I'll give you the 2 positives first. Actually, we'll do positive.
Yeah, you got to do a positive sandwich.
Yes, we'll do it like parents. We'll do a positive, a negative, and a positive. All right, so the first positive is Jackson Blake. So the Hurricanes knew going into the season that they had 4 bona fide offensive threats in the lineup. And we all know who those are, right? So we don't have to go over them. So the Hurricanes needed to find maybe someone. If they didn't find one of their rookies to do that, they would have been fine either starting Brendan Lemieux or Tyson Jost. Both of them are in Chicago in the American Hockey League right now because Jackson Blake became that guy. And Jackson Blake has 2 goals. If you watch the game Saturday night in the 3rd period, Blake bumped up. He and Jack Roslovic flipped spots. Blake was playing with Jesperi Kotkaniemi and Martin Necas. Roslovic with Jack Drury and Eric Robinson. As it turns out, Roslovic scored a goal in a 2nd straight game, but it really was for Jackson Blake, who has been noticeable every shift, pretty much always in a positive way. I think it's a reward for this kid who has offensive game, serious offensive game, and might be a good complement playing the left side with Kotkaniemi and Necas. it might be a great fit. I have no idea. The Hurricanes are going to skate here in a little bit. I have no idea if that's going to stay that way. My guess is Rod goes back, and Blake will play with Drury and Robinson because that's been Carolina's arguably their second best line. They don't play as much, but they have been consistently very good. So Jackson Blake, who has 2 goals, that's my first positive. Here's my negative. And it's sort of not necessarily a negative, but here it is. I said it if you were listening to the game on the radio Friday against Pittsburgh, or if you watched the podcast, either watched it or listened to the podcast after the game. I was put off by, after 2 periods of utter butt kicking by the Hurricanes over the Penguins, that the score was only 3-1. And I put on Twitter, at @AGoldFan, that my concern is that it's just 3-1. Third period, need to get off to a good start in terms of controlling the game and not allowing the Penguins to get back in it by scoring early and taking momentum and erasing 40 minutes of great hockey. Because the Hurricanes probably should have been up 5-1.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying, sure, it could have been 8-1 if you cash in on all of your chances, but Carolina was dominating the game, and it was just 3. And that bothered me. 2 of the goals on the power play, that was great. But it bothered me that it was only a 2-goal game. And then Carolina gave up a power play at the start of the third period, and I'm thinking, oh no, this is it. But their penalty kill was very good in that situation, and they assumed control of the game, so they played very well in the third. Pittsburgh had their chances in the third period, so Freddie Anderson had to be good. My guess is Anderson will start tonight. I can't imagine that he won't. They're basically alternating. And Anderson held him in when he had to make some good saves, but the Hurricanes really did kind of keep Pittsburgh from being too dangerous, and the Canes got the next goal anyway to make it 4-1. In St. Louis, that same exact thing happened, and I warned people on Friday night that if you don't take care of your opportunities, take advantage of them, then you are asking for trouble. First period, they scored 90 seconds in, should have been, so it was already 1-0. Svechnikov gets the goal, and then you just absolutely paced the Blues the rest of the first period, but you don't score again. So what happened? Midway through the second period, about a 3-minute mental and physical lapse. Goal, goal, goal. Now you're down 3-1 to a team you have been pummeling. Carolina did get the 2 goals back early in the third period, but another lapse, physical and mental, and I want better from Pyotr Kochetkov. And all of a sudden you're trailing 4-3, and while Carolina was good the rest of the way, they couldn't get the goal. So, to me, if you don't take advantage of your opportunities, which I think has hurt Carolina in all 4 games. It didn't hurt, well, not against the Devils, because they dominated the Devils too. But it could have hurt them against Pittsburgh. It hurt them against St. Louis. And I think, even though they weren't good against Tampa, they had much better chances and only scored the 1 goal. So, you have to be able to take advantage of your opportunities. And they did not do it, and therefore they're 2-2. Now, positively speaking, to close it out, the Ghost Walker defensive pair has been awesome. No other way to put it. Awesome. If you believe in hockey analytics, and I take them a little bit with a grain of salt, but there's truth. There's a lot of truth to them. That pair is first in the NHL in expected goals for, in percentage, over 80%. When they're on the ice, the team at 5-on-5 has an 80% chance of scoring the goal, roughly. If there's a goal, 80%, it's theirs. 20%, it's actually a little bit less than 20%. But in terms of the raw numbers, the expected goals against when they are on the ice is only 1.1 through 4 games.
Wow.
That is, by a lot, the best in the NHL.
Yeah.
So they have been spectacular as a pair. And Gazzola, of course, has 3 goals, 2 of which have come on the power play, which don't factor in to those numbers. They have been great.
Just in time for spooky season. I love all the ghost references.
Yes. Oh, man, every game. All right, let's get on to some other things. Lamar Jackson is not of this earth.
Insane.
Has anybody heard from Bill Polian? I'm just curious.
Nope.
The Bill Polian who said Lamar Jackson should consider being a wide receiver. Have we heard from Bill Polian lately?
Don't think so. No.
Again, there's no adjectives really to describe how good Lamar Jackson is. Here's his head coach, John Harbaugh.
We're just going to keep approaching every week, 1 week at a time, 1 game at a time, 1 play at a time, because that's what he's doing, and he's doing it at a high level. I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. He's a great leader, and he's a great player. But we got a game next week against the Browns, and we got to bring our best, and that's what he's thinking about.
All right, now, as for Lamar Jackson himself, the Buccaneers had a 10-0 lead.
Yeah.
10-0 lead in the game. I did not see that.
I did. It was weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on.
Well, the Ravens haven't always started games well.
No, slow start for sure. And then they never stopped.
But here's Lamar Jackson on that.
Let's go. We got to score points. To us, see a team just moving the ball and putting points on the board without us scoring. We didn't really do anything. Our drive, the first drive, it's like, man, we got to have some urgency with ourselves, and that's what it was. And I believe that's what we did. The next couple drives, we started putting points on the board. Those guys were still getting after us a little bit, but came out on top.
Yeah, their run game was really good last night. The Bucs was really good. I was surprised.
I mean, I think the Bucs have a pretty good offense. At least they did. The 2 injuries last night, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Godwin's injury worse than Evans, although the hamstring.
And it was so unnecessary, too.
Well.
40, and I understand that you want to keep playing your competitors, but that's their season.
I listened to Baker Mayfield after the game. Baker Mayfield was talking about, we still thought, as improbable as it might be, we still thought we had a chance to win the game.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the percentages would say otherwise, but I agree that we should not be the worst. The thing that I dislike the most about the way the analytics has made us process sports, win probability during a game.
Right.
I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to go.
Look at the onside kick that they got. The probability of them having that was bad, but they did.
4% chance of something,
exactly.
Right? Because you have to basically tell them, we're doing an onside kick.
Everybody prepare.
And in the situation, we all knew it anyway, but still, you have to declare that now because of the way we do kickoffs in the NFL. If we're going to have an onside kick, everybody's got to know about it.
Yeah.
All right, so the injury, it's unfortunate, and I know it seems unnecessary, and we would lose our minds if it took out a great player from, we'll just use the Panthers here, if they have any, a great player, I'm just kidding, a great player in a situation we deem unnecessary. But Baker Mayfield was also playing last night, and the starters were also in on the offensive line. And, by the way, Baltimore's starters were also still in the game. So
I know. I'm surprised a little.
It sucks. I know how people are with these things, but I'm not going to lose my mind over it. I don't have an emotional investment, so it's easy for me to just say, look, stuff happens. But that's the way the Buccaneers are looking at it too.
Mm-hmm.
But the Ravens right now look like, I'm not saying their offense looks like a college offense because it doesn't. Their offense looks like a machine, but it's like a college team that knows they can do anything to beat you. They do everything well. They throw the ball well. Derrick Henry is a freak show.
Nuts. This guy. He's got wheels for feet. He's amazing.
I said this probably last week we were talking about it. he is one of those running backs that defies logic in that he's a power back. He's also a speed back, but he's a power back that has not lost anything in his career. See, like he's been in the league like 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
The average lifespan of a running back at the top of his game is 4. And he's exactly the type of back who shouldn't be this good at this age. But he's amazing. So here are the numbers. 873 yards rushing. It's nearly 200 yards more than whoever is second best.
Mm-hmm.
8 rushing touchdowns, tied for the most in the NFL. 3 times he's gone over 150 yards rushing in a game. Yards from scrimmage, not a ton more than 873, but he has 2 touchdown catches on the year. And in his 43, however many times he has touched the ball, it's like 146 times, something like that. 1/3 of his carries or receptions, 1/3, have either ended up in a first down or a touchdown.
It's impressive. It's hard to do.
1/3?
That's ridiculous.
If you want to get him the ball 25 times in a game, do that math.
And it's funny, too, because Harbaugh even said that, well, we didn't bring him in so he would be like an every other person that we went to. But
Right. And it's just incredible.
Why wouldn't you?
So let me close this segment on the fact that Jerry Jones on his weekly radio spot
my
in
gosh.
Dallas was asked again about Derrick Henry.
Oh, wow.
And, of course, look, he's not wrong about what he said. I don't think he would be doing the same thing in our offense. We don't run the same offense, and that is true. Their offensive line is not as good as Baltimore's offensive line. They do not utilize the threat of Lamar Jackson running like with Dak Prescott. They did early in his career, but they're not now. So it makes it a little bit easier. Like, oh, it's a run play. It's Derrick Henry. With Baltimore, because you must account for Lamar Jackson, even if he's not running from scrimmage a lot. You must be aware of that, because if you're not, you are done.
Yeah.
So it just creates a little bit of an element of doubt in the defense. So it is set up for him to do well in Baltimore. But the other part of this story is that Jerry Jones continues to talk about the salary cap as being a problem for Dallas. And yes, it is a problem when it comes to signing a player like Derrick Henry.
Right.
But if, this is going to sound crazy.
Yeah.
If you had done CeeDee Lamb
earlier,
first among the wide receivers as opposed to last.
Right.
If you had done Dak Prescott first among the quarterbacks other than the last.
Yeah.
Then maybe, this is so crazy.
It's weird.
You would have some additional cap room with which to fit, maybe not Derrick Henry, but another player of that ilk. So when Jerry Jones talks about there isn't a better person to be the general manager of my team than me, this is where Jerry has completely blown it. If you know that you are going to keep the player, don't wait. The market doesn't work in your favor. The longer you wait, the more expensive it gets. 100 times out of 100.
Yep.
Shoulder shrug emoji for you, Jerry Jones.
I know.
Hey, look, I said the same thing about Tom Dundon.
Sure.
When he waited on Sebastian Aho. That was a deal that should have been, first of all, the offer sheet year, that was a deal that should have been done the year before. You waited, it ended up costing you money and years and more money initially. Regardless.
I know.
I'll shut up now. All right, when we come back, Mike Maniscalco. He is in Edmonton. Good thing the Hurricanes are there too. We will talk to him about the Canes and the Oilers next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk, Panthers Playbook, the Paw Print. Follow your Carolina Panthers all season with us.
Dalton this time in a pistol set. Here's the snap. Hand off Chuba Hubbard straight up the middle. Big hole. He's got the 20, 15, 10, 5. Goodbye. Touchdown, Chuba Hubbard.
Your home for complete Carolina Panthers coverage. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road and Cary. Here's the man who invented the no closing cost mortgage. He did that in 1987. Realized rates were high, but rates would probably come down. And if people wanted to refinance, they could do so free of charge because, honestly, the rates might be dropping a lot. Well, here's what happens with mortgage rates. Much like with stocks, although less volatile, they go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. They're actually back up about a half point in the last, month and a half or so. But as I was speaking to Gordon, he says rates will be down in the 5s, maybe lower than 5.5 in the next year. Take advantage of the system. Get your mortgage now. Don't worry about what the rate is. Don't worry about timing. Get your mortgage now. Don't pay closing costs. And then when the rates drop, refinance free of charge and take advantage of the savings. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary, an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2502146.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling, we do the job right every time.
Protect your heating and cooling system like my offensive line protects me. I'm Drake May, quarterback at UNC. Mitchell Heating and Cooling has been committed to your comfort for 50 years and counting. Call Mitchell Heating and Cooling today.
Contact us now at mitchellhvac.com or 919-556-5069. Train. It's hard to stop a train.
The best solutions every time.
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately.
Nope, sticking to our go-to places.
You mean like Sharky's?
Well, we love our Sharkies. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime and Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3.
You know my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection.
And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it.
Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other?
Yes.
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Durham Road, Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
Hey, North Carolina, it's State Fair time, October 17th through the 27th in Raleigh. Homegrown happiness awaits. 11 days, just once a year. Come out and celebrate what's great about North Carolina. We've got the best deep-fried delights, the most blue ribbons ever, nearly 100 thrilling rides, and surprises around every corner. Bring your friends, bring your family, but most importantly, bring your sense of adventure. Get your discounted tickets now at ncstatefair.org. See you at the fair.
Hey, what are you doing up on the step stool?
About to clean these light fixtures. The whole family's coming over, and if there's even a speck of dust in the house, my abuela will find it.
Here, I got a Swiffer duster to help with that.
A Swiffer what?
A Swiffer duster. It has this cool extendable handle that reaches 6 feet to get high and low, with fluffy dusters that easily trap and lock dust.
So, no more step stool?
No more step stool.
Easily trap and lock dust from hard-to-reach places with the Swiffer duster. Love it or your money back.
This is Adam Gold.
Maybe at some point after repeated losing, David Tepper will get out of the way.
Yeah, it's going to be on my Christmas list every year until it happens. So, there.
I wish I could give you that.
I wish I could
put a bow around that for you, Victoria.
Me too.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold, Victoria producing the program. I slept in a little bit today because we have a late night. It's not as late as it could be. We'll be later a week from tonight in Vancouver with a 10 o'clock start. 9 o'clock Eastern time for the Hurricanes and the Edmonton Oilers. And joining us, and I am hoping to hear the sound of Edmonton Oilers practicing for the morning skate, Mike Maniscalco, the voice of your Carolina Hurricanes on FanDuel TV. Are you ready for the new color scheme and the new symbols?
Well, you'll have to tune in to find out, but it's FanDuel Sports Network.
Oh.
As you know, Adam, you have to get these things right.
Yes.
So join us on FanDuel Sports Network tonight at 8:30 as it all starts with Hurricanes Live, brought to you by Lenovo. I'll hit all of the brands here before we even get a question.
Do we have more? We got
a couple. So
okay.
And then you can stick around for Hurricanes Live, the postgame show, brought to you by Lenovo. If those of you on the East Coast will be up at 12:30, which I hope that you will be.
Of course they will be. We have a podcast to get to after the game, like we do all the time. All right. So I was on with the guys in Charlotte this morning, and they asked me about the Hurricanes, and I said I was going to give them two positives and a negative. We could sit here all day and talk about this guy, that guy, this guy. Mm-hmm. Is there a bigger positive? Because I think there are two really good ones, and I'm talking about three new players, essentially. Than the way Jackson Blake has put himself into the conversation to the point where Rod bumped him up to play with Jesperi Kotkaniemi and Marty Necas in the third period in St. Louis.
No, that's certainly been, the feel-good story so far of the early part of this season, and we're in the very early part of the season. But, Rod said it about Jackson Blake. He earned his way onto the team, and he did. If you go back and see how he played in the preseason, he plays the game the way that Rod Brindamore wants this team to play. And he's very smart. He's got let's use the high hockey IQ, and we'll get that one out of the way. But, the way he sees the game and then the way he plays, his first goal in the NHL, I mean, that's what a veteran does, to know to dart to the front of the net, to see where Dmitry Orlov is and what he's thinking, and to get his stick on the deflection and the way that he works. So that's been a great story. I'd also like to add he's a new-ish face. We only saw him for a couple of months the first time around, but Shane Gostisbehere, I think, has been another very positive story, and you can spin that into a whole package of, forget game one if you want to, throw it out, how the power play's gotten better with him quarterbacking it, and then the pairing of him and Sean Walker has been, for me, the last three games, a big positive for the Carolina Hurricanes.
You have also read the game notes. The game notes, I did not realize. I mean, it's something I would have looked up at some point just to see how it was analytically speaking, but the Ghost Walker tandem, they have been awesome. I mean, arguably one of the best in the NHL. And the funny part is that in terms of the possession metrics, while they're not the direct replacement for Shea and Pesce, they were like one of the best possession metric tandems in the NHL over the 3 years that they were together. So it's interesting that they have been as successful, but defensively they've been good too.
Yeah, and I think that was, for me, the biggest question mark of that pairing, how it was going to work when the lights came on for real, because you play in the case of Sean Walker, you play in different systems for your career. How the Carolina Hurricanes play defense, it is a little different. And, veteran defenders have come here. Brent Burns said he didn't really feel comfortable. I know that you and I have talked about this before, until February, his first season in Carolina playing D, because you get so accustomed to playing a certain way. And what the Canes ask you to do is slightly different. Rod gives us the great answer. Everybody does the same thing. Well, it's how do you do the different things that everybody does the same? And this pairing has just, they've been taken to it like a duck to water. They've been outstanding. They play well off of each other, and I think that they are what you said. You didn't want to look at them to be the direct replacement, but they are for a combo that for the last 4 years had been outstanding for the Hurricanes and Rod Brindamore.
Mike Maniscalco, voice of the Carolina Hurricanes, on the FanDuel Sports Network?
FanDuel Sports Network.
All right, very cool. You didn't even mention the Fanatics sponsorship. I don't know if you can do that at the same time. That's like water and electricity. All right, so let me get to what I found, and it's kind of a backhanded negative. It's not. It's only a negative because of what didn't happen out of it. But the Hurricanes dominated the first 2 periods. By the way, the way they played against the Devils was awesome. They completely bossed the game. Then they do the same thing against Pittsburgh, but after 2 periods, it's only 3-1, and I was nervous coming out of that because you know how dangerous Pittsburgh has been offensively so far this year. They get an early goal. Now the game is completely flipped when you have owned them for 40 minutes. Fortunately, even though Pittsburgh got a penalty, got a power play, it didn't connect, and the Canes got the next goal anyway to make it 4-1, and they coasted the game out. But it bit them against St. Louis in that they dominated the first period, score early, but that was it, because that was a game that they could have created more separation. So they're going to have to figure out, I think, they're going to have to figure out how to cash in on some more of these opportunities.
Yeah, and nobody likes to hear this, but they did get goalied a little bit by Joel Hofer and the St. Louis Blues. You know, he was coming off of a 34-save shutout win over the Islanders that he was brilliant. And that game in the first period should have been, you know, you look at the numbers, that game should have been 3-0 Carolina heading into the second period. And I would tell you that the Canes probably of the 2 road games, they've been the better team in 5 of the 6 periods that they played. The second period was a little uneven. And, you know, even though St. Louis didn't score on their 2 power plays in the second period, they got momentum off of them. And that's when they scored 3 in a row. What I was encouraged was the Canes came out in the third period and tied the game at 3. And then it's, you know, a bouncing puck that Marty Necas has a hard time handling, and maybe there's a bit of a slow change that doesn't help Carolina in the defensive zone. And, you know, Kasperi Kapanen, you know, channels his dad, Sammy, and turns on the speed and scores a goal that turns out to be the game winner. But, you know, the fact that the game didn't end 3-1 when you were playing a back-to-back and you could have kind of said, all right, well, we got a whole bunch more left on this trip. You know, that they got it to a tie game. That was encouraging to me. And again, it's early, and you're going to, you know, that's the weird thing about this game. You know, you can dominate for 50 minutes. You know, the other night against the Dallas Stars, Edmonton, for 39 minutes and 30 seconds, they were great. I mean, they were better than Dallas. And then they give up a late goal in the second period and get their doors blown off in the fourth by Dallas. So, you know, it's how the game can be funny if you don't find a way to beat a goaltender or if a goalie gets hot and can keep a team in the game. But, you know, there were a few things that I was encouraged. And the other thing I'm encouraged about, Adam, not to say, hey, everything's great, but the penalty kill is now 9 for its last 9 on this road trip. That's against Pittsburgh, like you mentioned, that's pretty good. And against St. Louis, that has got some guys who can put the puck in the net. That's pretty good. We'll see tonight. You would imagine that when we talk about McDavid and Draisaitl, the number 1 power play in the league, they have 1 power play goal through 6 games.
1 out of 15.
I mean, so.
Yeah, it's just incredible. And the penalty kill has been bad, and the penalty kill was almost perfect in the playoffs a year ago. All right, one more thing from Mike Maniscalco. I have talked to a ton of Yankee fans all year long, and even though the Yankees had the best record in the American League, there was supreme doubt that this was a team that was going to end up in the World Series and probably a slight favorite. I haven't looked at the FanDuel odds yet, but probably a slight favorite to beat the Dodgers based on maybe starting pitching and the fact that they've got 3 guys in the middle of their lineup that are just grossly good, not to mention other players. Where were you? Where are you on this Yankees team as we head into the World Series? The most played World Series matchup in baseball history.
Oh, I mean, I look at the Dodgers and Dave Roberts and just immediately default to 2004 and somebody stealing bases in a series that should have been well over in the American League Championship Series. And, you know, the Dodgers have a winning pedigree, too, right now. Yeah. And there is something about that where the Yankees, you know, this team, we've expected it for a couple of years, and it hasn't happened, and now it's here. So I hate to say this comes down to 2 players, Adam, but for me, I think the fascinating thing about this World Series will be, does Shohei Ohtani hit when nobody's on base and start to keep the things moving for the Dodgers? And does Aaron Judge be the MVP that Aaron Judge is for this Yankees team? Do we see that? Those 2 guys, I think, are the key, because if you get I'm expecting everything else to be the same. And by the way, it's Babe Stanton or Giancarlo Ruth, whatever you want to call him. His numbers are unbelievable to me in the postseason. If anybody hasn't looked it up, I'm a Yankee fan. And I looked at his numbers, and I'm like, yeah, well, that sample size has got to be small, and it's not.
Yeah.
So it comes down to that. And it always comes down to one thing. Can you get the outs when you need them? And there's a few things about that Yankees bullpen, while it's been good, a few things in that Cleveland series, even though it was 4-1, that could be a little distressing if you're a Yankee fan. But, I'm going to go in and thinking, yeah, they got a really good chance to win this thing, and they should. I think it's going to – it's going back to L.A. I don't think that this thing is over in 4 or 5. That's my thought on the series.
The Yankees blew 2 late leads. They blew a late lead in Game 3, and they blew a late lead in Game 4. But they ultimately rallied to win Game 4 and then Game 5. Be on the lookout for Tommy Edman, whatever that dude is, who had 11 runs batted in the 6 games against the Mets in the National League Championship Series. I hate that kid. I hate him now. He's worse than David Eckstein for me, and I couldn't stand him. Oh, my. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Mike
that's high praise from you, Adam.
I know.
Seriously.
I know. Mike, thank you for your time, man. We'll be watching and listening on the radio as well to you and Tripp. Tell Tripp I said hello, and I will talk to you guys later.
I hope you got enough Nat sound from Oilers practice. Pleasure to be here.
I love it. Love it. I love the sound of hockey practice and BP, 2 best sounds in sports.
Excellent, Adam. I'll talk to you later down the road.
All right. Take care. Mike Maniscalco here on the Adam Gold Show. Seriously, there was a time way back in the day where I was doing play-by-play for USA Baseball, and because the games are out in Durham, and the show that I was doing at the time was from 3 to 6, where I'd be out there and doing the show during batting practice, open the windows and let that sound.
Oh, yes.
They're
so fun.
Best sound in sports.
Yeah.
BP. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Since we're in a hockey mode, one-timers, I will be camped out on the left face-off circle like Martin Natchez. Next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The NBA is back, and FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, wants you to catch all the action. Adam Gold here, and right now, FanDuel is giving all users 3 months of NBA League Pass. All you have to do to catch every tip-off and buzzer beater is place any $5 bet on the NBA. You don't even have to win it. So, check it out. You can bet the Knicks to win, or you can bet the Knicks to lose. It doesn't matter. They'll probably do both. Go to FanDuel. Just visit FanDuel.com/AGS. Get 3 months of NBA League Pass, courtesy of FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. After 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power. Whether you're home or away, power your life with a Generac home standby generator. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at AlternativePower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Kamala Harris gets that everyday costs are too high. She has real plans to tackle price gouging, cut taxes for middle-class families, and make life more affordable. Her opponent's plan?
Donald Trump plans to impose what is, in effect, a national sales tax. On everyday products, it will mean higher prices on just about every one of your daily needs. A Trump tax on gas, a Trump tax on food, a Trump tax on clothing, a Trump tax on over-the-counter medication. Donald Trump's plan would cost a typical family $3,900 a year. When everyday prices are too high, he will make them even higher.
Kamala Harris, a better plan for lowering costs for a future we can afford. Paid for by FFPAC, ffpac.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. FFPAC's responsible for the content of this advertising.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Psst. Hello there. It's me, your internal clock. Yes, the one you sleep through on weekends. You've probably heard my TikToks, but I'm straight up sounding the bell now. It's almost time to start applying for college. That means you got transcripts to gather, letters of rec to request, and campus tours to schedule. But hey, we've got time, and we've got CFNC. CFNC.org can help us plan, apply, and pay for college. We got this, trust me. Just visit CFNC.org to help us stay on time.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
This is Adam Gold.
While I'm watching Colombia-Uruguay, not only the end of that match, but the fight in the stands after it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Heard it got spicy.
That was the most excited fans we have seen in 5 years at Bank of America Stadium. Man, look at all the happy people at Bank of America.
Just took the other kind of football.
Yeah, there you go. More of that.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria's here. Thank you to Mike Maniscalco. Good luck to his Yankees. Not really.
Yeah.
This is a pro-Dodgers show.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, very, very much pro-Dodgers show.
I mean, they wear blue like my Cubs, so
They do.
I could get down with that.
Look, when you grow up where I grew up in northern Jersey, but my family was a Brooklyn family.
Yeah.
They were all Dodgers fans.
Okay.
When the Dodgers left, they did not follow the Dodgers in terms of their emotions, even though there were several years until the Mets were born. But they were basically just waiting. They were like paying attention to the Dodgers.
Right.
Much more difficult that time because once they started playing on the West Coast, you just didn't get a lot of there was newspaper coverage.
It's more difficult.
I'm saying this like I was alive in 1957. I was
well,
not.
there definitely wasn't the internet to help us with things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And there was no Major League Baseball extra innings package that you could buy.
No.
So but they eventually became Mets fans. I mean, no self-respecting Dodgers fan was ever going to become a Yankees fan. So they eventually became Mets fans.
Makes sense.
So the Mets colors actually are derived from the Dodger blue and the orange from the Giants. New York Giants were like a brownish black and orange back in the day, and Giants obviously moved to San Francisco same time the Dodgers left. So New York lost both of their National League teams at the same time. Process that for a second. New York lost 2 teams.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, they got the Mets eventually came back, and my whole family became Mets fans. I am not really a Dodgers fan, but I'm certainly not a Yankees fan. So we are pro-Dodgers on this program.
And they're fun to watch. That team is, they are stacked.
Ohtani and Betts and Hernandez, and I've always been a Kike Hernandez fan. He's basically been playing just about every day in center field for them or somewhere in the outfield. Yeah, that's a good team. This is a really, really good team. I wish that Freddie Freeman could be healthy.
Yeah.
And here's another guy who I shouldn't like because he's a Brave, but I love as a player. I hope that he can come back and make some contribution.
Me too.
To the Dodgers during the World Series.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
Me, Dodgers in 2.
Okay. Well, there you go.
All right. Let's play one-timers.
I also didn't realize how huge Ohtani is, too. Like, I saw him at the end of the game, like, compared to other guys on the field. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, you're massive.
He's a freak.
Yeah, exactly. So, another freak, Lamar Jackson. Crazy game last night. So, Michelle Smallman of Unsportsmanlike made maybe a hot take, I don't know, but she says that there's no other team that's more Super Bowl or bust this season than the Ravens. Would you agree with that?
I mean, I don't know if they're Super Bowl or bust. I mean, the Jets are more Super Bowl or bust.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear the comment on how she said it, so I'm not sure it's about we built this team to win the Super Bowl now or not. I did see enough chatter on social media, and I don't know if it was her or anybody connected with that show, where that they're going to win the Super Bowl. They might. Like Bridget Condon came on the show 2 weeks ago and declared them the best team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
At 2-2 at the time, I believe. I think she called them the best team in the NFL.
Yeah.
They might be. I mean, to be honest, they might be. I think their defense is very good, even though Tampa did move the ball early and then whatever happened late. But their offense is... If they can keep wide receivers healthy,
yes,
their offense is great.
And Lamar Jackson, because if he's done, they're done.
And that has happened twice in the last several years. And it also he is the one thing I will say about Lamar, as much as I love him and I think he's awesome, and other than Patrick Mahomes, there's nobody else. Like I put he and Josh Allen at the same level.
Yeah.
But right now he is playing better than Josh Allen. He has not done it yet in the postseason. I am not using that as a negative, but that's been when are you going to do it in the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
they still have to do it in the postseason.
Right. Well, moving on to their opponent from last night, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers saw a couple of injuries that were huge for their team. Mike Evans is out for who knows how long with a bad hamstring, and Godwin, of course, with that really ugly injury. So is this basically a wrap for the Bucs season?
No, because I think the division is not going to run away from anybody. Right? I think the division is still 10 wins. So I think the Buccaneers can get to 10 wins.
Yeah.
I don't think the Falcons are great. I think the Falcons, on the right day, can look great. But I don't think the Falcons are great. So I think this is a 10-win division, and I think the Buccaneers can get to 10 wins. Saints right now probably can't do better at, 2-5?
Yeah.
Probably can't do better than 10-7, even though if New Orleans gets healthy, they're going to be very good.
Mm-hmm. Well, also sticking with football, so Tua is set to return this weekend. He will be back. Now, do you see him fitting back into the offensive line as if he never left, or should it take a little bit of time to get more comfortable again?
Look, anything is going to look better than what the Dolphins have been without Tua. It's bad. Let me give you some numbers. In the 4 games without Tua Tagovailoa,
all losses, by the way.
No, they won one.
Did they win one?
They beat New England, who's terrible.
That's right.
They've scored 40 points in 4 games. They have 550 yards passing in 4 games, and they have 1 win against not a great schedule. As much as I hate seeing him come back and assume that risk, they need to. I think he'll step in and play well.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The NBA is back. I am Adam Gold for FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and we want you to catch all the action. You don't like what game the networks give you? How about NBA League Pass? And how about getting 3 months of NBA League Pass for free if you place a $5 wager on the NBA? Because you know me, FanDuel's America's #1 sportsbook. Knicks are at the Celtics. Celtics raising a banner, probably going to beat the Knicks too. If you're new to FanDuel, you can go to FanDuel.com/AdamGold and get 3 months of NBA League Pass courtesy of FanDuel. FanDuel, make every moment more. Official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. After a 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
It's fire sale time for the Panthers. This season is a wash, so go ahead and look at your roster. Pick your untradables. Maybe J.C. Horn, Derek Brown, some of the rookies. Everybody else, put up the for sale sign. Move some closer to the street at the garage sale so everybody knows their price to move. But you have to start thinking about the future. This season's a wash.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Veterans, you've served our country. Now it's time to serve your future. Why carry the weight of high-interest debt when you can use your home's equity to wipe it out before January? Hey, it's Dennis Cox from my friends at Loan Pronto. If you're a veteran, Loan Pronto's VA Equity Advantage program lets you access 100% of your home's equity, so you can pay off high-interest credit cards, car loans, and more. Imagine pulling out tens or even hundreds of thousands with no junk fees and no hassle, and locking in an APR in the 5s. Most veterans using Loan Pronto save over $800 a month. Plus, if you're stuck with a high mortgage rate, ask about our VA Streamline Refi with no income verification and no appraisal required. Loan Pronto is committed to honoring your service. Call now and take control of your financial future before the new year begins. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months. Hurry, sale ends October 31st, so schedule an in-home estimate at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
For the first time in a long time, Harry Douglas, Major League Baseball has a chance to be on that same line with the NFL, even for a little bit. When you get Yankees and Dodgers against each other and that star power, stars will always, always matter. I never got Kobe versus LeBron, even though they beat my Mets. At least it's a wonderful consolation prize. I get Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge on that stage, hopefully for 7 games in this World Series.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. I appreciate what Freddie Coleman had to say there. Baseball has enjoyed a great postseason. Not only have we had dynamite series, we've had comebacks, we've had, in many ways, different teams involved. Yes, expanding the playoffs does that, which is kind of like why I think expanding the playoffs is a good thing, not a bad thing. We got to stop with we're watering down the playoffs. Yeah, it happens everywhere. We just watered down the college football playoff. Nobody's complaining about that. We watered down the NCAA tournament. Too many teams in. But it's fun. Playoffs are fun. We have to be able to move past this. We watered down the NFL playoffs. We have a division. We have divisions with 4 teams in it. We have teams with losing records win divisions. At the end of the day, nobody cares. Just like nobody cares that NFL players have PED violations. They get suspended. Jamison Williams for the Lions gets suspended for 2 games for a PED violation. I don't know what he used. NyQuil. I have no idea. A 2-game suspension. Right. Remember, a total tangent to start before we get to the Panthers, and we are going to talk about the Panthers here. And I also want to address what Freddie Coleman had to say. I'm not too scattered, am I? A couple of weeks ago, we had the conversation about Pete Rose.
Yes,
right?
We did.
And then I kind of brought into the conversation, Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, explain why. I believe Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Manny Ramirez, Alex Rodriguez, guys who were stained by the performance-enhancing drug era of Major League Baseball. My feeling is they should be in.
Yeah.
So I get a text from Rod. They shouldn't be in. They cheated the game. I get it. In baseball, we care about performance-enhancing drug users. Why? Why do we care? Because they distort the statistics of the game. They distort the measurables where we use in baseball, more so than in other sports, we use to compare players from one era to the next. Even though the games have changed, nutrition have changed, ballpark size have changed, sensibilities about
equipment
using pitchers have changed, right? We still use those counting numbers to decide who's better than who. That's why we complain, why the PED users are so villainous to the sport. That may or may not be a word. Look it up. Tell me if it's a word.
We should make it.
If it isn't, it should be. In football, people would be stunned about how many players use performance-enhancing drugs. And Von Miller lost 4 games to. Look, Von Miller has other issues, right? But I'm telling you that he would not miss out on being in the Hall of Fame because of PED use. In fact, most people forget that he was a PED user.
Yeah.
To whatever level, because he was suspended 4 games for it. Sean Merriman, who was a great player for the San Diego Chargers when they were in San Diego, he was an all-pro PED user. But nobody cares in football because we don't care about the numbers in football. We care about one number. How many Super Bowls did you win?
The results,
right?
yeah.
We only care about winning. So, and I also think that most people believe that, well, how can these guys not use PEDs? Look at the game.
It's fair.
Look at the game.
Yeah.
How can they not? Yeah. So, just different sensibilities. Real quick, back to what Freddie Coleman had to say about ratings. It's foolish to think that Major League Baseball in the World Series is going to get ratings comparable to the NFL. Do you know what the ratings were Sunday afternoon for the Chiefs and the 49ers?
Oh, I bet it was good.
27 million people watched a Week 7 game between the Chiefs and the 49ers, and the Chiefs are undefeated, neither team is playing at a super high level right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't matter.
Nope.
It doesn't matter.
It does not.
If Major League Baseball can get, and they used to get routinely in the mid to high 20s, low 30s for late World Series games, like Game 6 or Game 7. If Major League Baseball touches 20 million once, I think it'll be a surprise.
Right.
I mean, maybe they'll get into the mid-20s. It is Yankees and Dodgers. But the difference is that unless you're a Yankee fan or a Dodger fan, baseball has stopped becoming a national game in that regard. Yankees and Dodgers fans are everywhere.
Sure.
So maybe these two franchises will supersede
push the envelope,
that. Right? But it doesn't make a difference which two teams are in the Super Bowl. If the Jaguars and the Vikings were in the Super Bowl,
yeah,
100 million people would watch it.
It's a national event.
100 million people would watch it.
Baseball's still very regional.
Right. I was actually thinking that we have a Saints Chargers game coming up. I was trying to think of the most random NFL game you could possibly have. Right? And that, to me, that's just random.
I kind of felt like the Cardinals and Chargers were that last night.
It might have been that one last night. We'll put this one on ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
Like, who's purchasing ESPN Plus to watch that?
Yeah, who's flipping the channel for
By the way,
that?
I was right about Cardinals and the under.
Yes,
all right.
I know. And the over, man. I hope people took it for the Bucks and the.
Yes, I had that one wrong.
The
I thought the Bucks would keep that close, but they clearly did not.
They tried.
All right, take two. And this is where we get into how do you feel about Dave Canales? So yesterday, Dave Canales had his Monday availability, and he was asked about thinking back on what happened in Washington. Your thoughts?
Just a humbling film to watch, looking at all phases and the corrections, the fundamental things that we need to improve upon, and just went right to the truth of it, just looking at the film and everybody taking accountability for the different things that we can improve upon in the different areas. So, certainly in all phases, it's tough to look at the truth of what it is, but that's all we got. That's all we can do is look at those things, start with the basics and the fundamentals of it, and just take it head on and attack it again this week in practice.
So are you still proud? Like, that's not, I would have been that person to be like, are you still proud of them now?
So when Matt Doherty was the basketball coach at UNC, he would be asked questions about the game after the game, and he would say, I have to go look at the tape. Regardless of whether or not you should be a trained mind enough to know what went wrong and what didn't go wrong. Whatever. I mean, take your time. The way Dave Canales handled a similar question to that post-game, to me, was alarming. We're not at high school football.
No.
These guys, first of all, you're not speaking, you're not protecting anybody, you're talking to fans. And like I joked with the guys on FNZ this morning, I said, if I could sit with Dave Canales for 5 minutes, if I could give him some advice, I don't care what you say. But as a fan, I want to hear things that make me feel, okay, he knows how awful that was.
He gets it.
In real time, I need you to understand how awful I thought it was. You can't put lipstick on that and tell me it's attractive. It's okay. You have to call it for what it is. I wish he had said this yesterday. All right, now questions about Bryce Young, who, in my brain, the score at halftime, 27-0, as you guys were playing, I thought, man, it'd be a really good idea to, a good opportunity to put Bryce Young out there and let him play the second half.
Same.
Andy Dalton was trash.
Yeah, it was bad.
In the first half. So, let Bryce go. Here's Dave Canales not really wanting to answer that.
Right now we're focused on the Broncos. Andy's playing this week, and that's really where our focus is at. And all those other conversations are all hypothetical conversations that, definitely Dan, Brant, that we have to have. But right now we're focused on playing the Broncos and, focused on getting Andy to take another step in terms of getting us back to good football.
Are they conversations that are ongoing, and are you a part of them?
Again, all hypothetical questions. We're focused on the Broncos and Andy.
I love Joe Person.
Yes. I'm nodding, which is terrible radio. But if you're watching on YouTube, and I know we have some people watching on YouTube,
right.
I was nodding. Joe Person knows the questions to ask. So, does Dave understand why people are asking these questions?
Absolutely. Completely sensitive to the questions, and they're not unfounded and unbased. But from my perspective, I'm trying to get a team to continue to take strides and take steps, and that's where my focus has to be. It has to be on getting Andy to play his best football with this group, a group that has showed promises, and then a group that has showed to struggle, and like, what is those struggles, and what can I do as a coach to put ourselves in the best situation? So that's really where I can focus my energy on.
For someone who might have made up a word earlier, I will say has shown.
Yeah.
Not has showed. All right, one more thing. We praised the wide receiver group 2 weeks ago against Atlanta. What about this week, Dave?
Rough day. Not detailed football. I thought we were taking strides with that group. They were showing up and making plays. This week was a challenge. And as coaches, we got to look at the plan. Are we doing too much with these guys? Are we moving them around too much? You can't be so simple that you're predictable, but at the same time, I think there's always that, what is the line that we can push to, and can we do just a little bit more? But yesterday it felt like we overloaded that group, clearly, and they got to take responsibility as well of preparing, and they're working hard at it, but, I know we can do better.
Yeah, I think everybody can do better. I thought at the beginning of the season, when we go back, if we picked out a random show where we were talking about the Panthers in August, my fear was that the defense was not going to be able to support the offense. We thought going into last year that at least the defense could be formidable to the point where it would give the offense time.
Right.
And the defense started off okay, but it became apparent to all of us that, you can run on this team. And then eventually injuries and just being on the field all the time took a toll, and the defense fell apart. The counting numbers were fine, but the underlying analytics and everything tells you it was not a good defense by the end of last year. And this year, going into the season, you lose Derek Brown in week 1. You lose Shaq Thompson. Other guys are hurt. We still haven't seen DJ Wanham.
Nope.
Jadeveon Clowney, look, I don't even know if he's been bad or non-existent, and he's been hurt too.
He has, yeah.
But he hasn't made an impact on a single game.
No.
But part of that is, he's maybe the only guy you got to worry about at this point. So I don't even blame Jadeveon Clowney. And while I've been critical of J.C. Horn, I don't think Horn's he certainly hasn't been great, but it's hard to judge anybody, any individual player on this defense, because it seems like they are so easy to play through. So I don't think the defense is salvageable. Before we break, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit about the Panthers, but also the NBA season starts tonight. Our friend Konata Edwards is going to join us. This team could use an inside linebacker, don't you think?
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
They like Trevin Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many people watch the game Sunday night, but playing about half of the Steelers' defensive snaps, do you know who led the team in tackles?
Oof. Who's that?
Peyton Wilson.
Wow.
So, he had 10 tackles. He is really good.
I know. I wish we had him.
So, just keep this in mind. When we talk about the Panthers and their road back, whatever the Panthers' road back is, however long it's going to take, it will be built through the draft. Talked about it yesterday with Will Brinson. We'll get to it more. We'll talk to Ryan Wilson again coming up in probably next week, right? And that's one of the things that he focuses on. When you are as far away in terms of personnel as the Panthers are, your path back is nailing the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And it remains to be seen. Jonathan Brooks is going to practice, right? Jonathan Brooks better be good.
I hope so.
No, not for any other reason than you used a second-round pick and actually traded up to get him. So you gave up another asset. Yeah, there were other trades that were made to create the draft capital you got to move up, but you moved up to take a running back, which, I don't know, blows my brain. But you need guys who make an impact on the field now. And I get, well, this is a move for later. I'm not sure the Panthers really could have afforded a move for later, especially when you need a defensive back, and there were 3 cover corners there when you took Jonathan Brooks. So how you nail the draft is Trevin Wallace a better inside linebacker than Peyton Wilson? He's played the last few games. Now, Peyton Wilson's playing on an elite defense. It's a lot easier for him.
Right.
But I'm just saying, I watch. Peyton Wilson makes a lot of plays.
Well, that's why I would like to know, I know Dave Canales will never be honest with us, but I would like to know what the goal is, like the real goal for this season, because it's all stepping stones. So I want to know what his real goal is. Is it winning? Is it shaping the team? Is it finding your identity?
Yes, that's why they run
all the things.
Wait a second.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait
exactly.
a second.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll touch a little bit on the Panthers with Konata Edwards. He's based in Charlotte. Then we will talk about the start of the NBA. Hornets play, I believe, tomorrow night in Houston. We've got Knicks and Celtics, Lakers and Timberwolves, and the family affair, that is the James family, opening up in Tinseltown. All of that next with Nada the Scribe.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
The Blue Devils up 21-20, and they got their arms reaching for that bell.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med, Sammy's Tap and Grill, and Roofworks.
2 Monday Night Football games with 2 very different scores. I'm Victoria Vodenecker here for BetMGM, and last night's football games are great examples of how one game you could absolutely have won by taking the over, and the other you could have won by taking the under. You also could have won by having guys like Lamar Jackson as an anytime touchdown scorer, or by having the Cardinals winning just the first half. These are all various ways for making those football wagers, but it doesn't stop there. We have our Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Edmonton Oilers tonight, which leaves the door wide open for anytime goal scores, shots on goals, who might win each period, and so much more. Because when you use the BetMGM app, you'll have options like betting the money line, prop bets, live bets, same game parlays, and BetMGM also throws out fun daily promotions for day of games. All brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today and please gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
$5, that's some deal, yeah. McDonald's money, I got McDonald's money. One meal just to make me feel better. All I wanna know is, can I get a hot and spicy patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow, yeah, McDonald's don't miss, yeah. Order on the app or the drive-thru quick, yeah. $5, that's some deal, yeah. I got McDonald's money.
At participating McDonald's.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and
2 and But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Adam Golden studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. When I say everything for the exterior of your home, I mean it. So tell me everything that you have for the exterior of my home.
There's so many things I can't even remember the entire list. You know,
Good luck.
Thanks for the test here. But windows, doors, siding, roofing, gutters, gutter guards, railings, you name it. We have the exterior home improvement you're looking for. The main thing is we're a one-stop shop, right? So you don't have to call 2 or 3 different contractors if you need your roof done and you need your windows done. You can call one company and have it all done.
I like that. French doors.
French doors.
I like French doors. I can't speak French, but I like French doors. Can I tell you, back in the day, you guys did French doors and every window in a home I used to own.
Well, thank you for your business.
It was incredible. Can I also tell you that it was done in like 2 days? Is that even possible?
It is possible.
How do you guys do work that fast?
We're good.
You're
We're
fast.
good.
That's Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. They do the best work in the industry and the best customer service in the industry as well. AluminumCompany.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval. Subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
This is Adam Gold.
While I'm watching Colombia, Uruguay, not only the end of that match, but the fight in the stands after it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Heard it got spicy.
That was the most excited fans we have seen in 5 years at Bank of America Stadium. Man, look at all the happy people at Bank of America.
Just took the other kind of football.
Yeah, there you go. More of that.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. The NBA starts tonight. Interesting, by the way, I don't know what it's called. You know, the NHL has these days where all teams are, like, the entire league's in action tonight. Right?
Oh, yes. All 16. There's 16.
16 games.
Games, yeah.
And they're staggered starts, so ESPN's going to do that, or ESPN Plus going to do that whip around.
Yes.
From game to game to game to game to game to game to game. Starts at, I believe, 6 o'clock is the first game. I wish they would have made the Hurricanes that game, so I would have been done early. But I'm not. We're 9 o'clock start. They did that on the same night the NBA starts. I don't know. Maybe a miss. Maybe a scheduling snafu, if you will. Anyway, the NBA does start. We were talking about the Panthers, and our friend from CBSSports.com, Konata Edwards, at Not of the Scribe on Twitter, joins us on the Adam Gold Show. Before we get to Knicks at Celtics and Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves going over to the James house to play with the kids, I mean, that's one way of looking at it, I guess.
Yeah.
What is the mood right now on the ground in Charlotte about the head coach and what we have seen through 7 weeks?
I think people don't trust the head coach, and it appears that maybe David Tepper might have hired this guy maybe a year early because he looks a little bit in over his head. But at the same point, I think everybody just looks at David Tepper and just blames him, and I think they're right. It's one of those things where it's a choose-your-own-adventure where no matter what the answer is, you're probably right. If you want to blame Dave Canales, feel free. You're partially right. If you want to blame Dave Tepper, you're partially right. The only person with semi-clean hands in any of this right now is Dan Morgan, who at least gave you a half-decent offensive line at the outset and a really good draft class.
Yeah, except that I'm watching Peyton Wilson wreck shop in Pittsburgh, and I didn't hear Trevin Wallace's name called.
Oh, no. His name was absolutely called because there was it was one of the few plays where Jaden Daniels was on the outside. It's one of the few plays Jaden Daniels actually played. and Trevin Wallace got an arm on him to stop him from scoring a touchdown. I think they only got 3 on that drive.
Ooh.
He did play.
Okay.
He did play. Again, Trevin Wallace did play. It's just that, unfortunately, there's a whole bunch of crap, and he shines a little bit, but it's just like you can only do so much, you know?
Gotcha. They inside linebacker has been a position of glory for this franchise. I mean, you go all, whether it's Sam Mills or Dan Morgan or Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis.
Don't forget Will Witherspoon.
Oh, no.
Will Witherspoon was good for a little bit, and then went to St. Louis, and then turned into a pumpkin. Yeah,
well, it happens. In St. Louis, it happens. Look, that's a position that you have to get right. We were under the impression that they really liked Peyton Wilson, and then they went the other way. I think Wilson's going to be dynamite in Pittsburgh, but there's also a lot more around. I said this before. There's a lot more around Peyton Wilson to make life easier on him. I don't believe the Panthers have a J.J. Watt or a T.J. Watt or a J.J. Watt, or they have a J.J. Jansen, but he is, of course, just a long snapper. Konata Edwards, not the scribe, on Twitter, joins us. All right, the NBA starts tonight.
Yes, it does.
Celtics are opening up against the Knicks. Minnesota is at the Lakers. You and I talked a couple of weeks ago. I was not a fan of the trade that the Knicks made, mostly because I thought Dante DiVincenzo was a piece that I thought was so valuable in the postseason, and the chemistry was so good. Maybe the chemistry is not something that can translate year to year. And I'm not anticipating that Karl Anthony Towns is a good fit, not so much for the Knicks, but for the city, and you and I agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
What did we see in the preseason that might change our minds?
Well, the thing is, have you seen Mikal Bridges' jump shot?
No.
So, go look, because if you look on Twitter right now and you see Mikal Bridges' 2024 jump shot, there is a hitch that wasn't there a year ago. That is a problem. I do think the chemistry thing is going to be fine. I think Mikal Bridges is going to play a lot of games, and he's going to test the theory that Tom Thibodeau runs his players into the ground, because as you know, Mikal Bridges has not missed a game since I believe junior high. So and I'm being completely 100% serious.
Wow.
On that. So you're talking about a guy that is just Mr. Iron Man, doesn't miss games, and we're going to test that theory with Tom Thibodeau this year. I like what they do. I do think that Karl Anthony Towns is going to, I think as long as he doesn't try to be Mr. Tryhard, he's going to be fine. But I expect him to have a similar career arc to potential Giancarlo Stanton. And I know it crosses sports a little bit, but if you remember, Giancarlo Stanton was booed for not showing up in big moments, and then a couple of postseasons, and now this is postseason Giancarlo, this, that, and the third. There's a lot of this where I think that it may run concurrently, like similar arcs in that regard. So I kind of think it's going to work. I think it's going to take a lot more time than people think, because I do believe that you're talking about a Karl Anthony Towns that has to figure that he's not number one. He might not even be number 2 on the pecking order, and he's got to figure out, okay, I have to play defense every single possession, or this is not going to work with Tibbs.
No question about that. All right, Celtics coming off a title. I don't know if there's going to be any sort of emotional hangover tonight against the Knicks. Maybe the Knicks are the wrong team for the Celtics to be playing in the opener, because the Knicks are going to be bringing it. We know that. But what are your thoughts on a repeat for Boston?
I like them as long as Porzingis stays healthy. And unfortunately, that's been the thing about Kristaps Porzingis. He stays healthy. He impacts his teams in ways that we don't necessarily understand. But at the same point, this team is led by an absolute sociopath in Joe Mazzulla. He will come up with, he comes up with these quotes that he spent at least 3 months in the mirror practicing. They sound corny, they sound trite, but they're perfect sports quotes that are meant to fuel It just gets you going. No one really understands it, but Joe Mazzulla is the type of guy that will invent slights, that will come up with different ways to motivate people into basically being. They're going to be fine.
Okay.
I think they're going to win more games than they won last year. They may end up winning 65 games. I think they're still the best. I kind of still think they're the best team in the East, and I don't think anyone's close just yet. The only thing that stops them is injury, quite honestly.
Yeah, well, they're not the deepest team in the world, and they're still very reliant on, even though they have, Derek White is certainly an outstanding player, they're still reliant on Tatum and Brown, and there are moments during the year where it almost looks like those guys don't practice together.
Yes. That's called January, Adam. That's called January.
All right, it's fair.
They look like they don't like each other.
They
come back from Christmas, and they're like, who are you again? And again, it looks all off sync and everything else like that. They're still going to be the best team in the East. I think they just, and we have to remember, because of the way the new luxury tax aprons work, this may be the last year that this team is together, because remember, they're in the second apron already.
Right.
They're not really going to be able to improve and add to their teams in ways that others can't. You can't necessarily bring in those waiver wire free agents, those deadline free agents like you used to anymore. So this is a very interesting team, because this may be the last iteration where they're going to have to make some significant changes and moves to keep this team together, or keep at least Tatum and Brown together, and then everybody else may get moved. So you can look at the Celtics team as this possibly being the season or series finale of them.
Konata Edwards is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show, Not the Scribe. Real quick to the Lakers, and I got one more question about a team in the East. And we haven't talked about the Hornets, but we talked about the Hornets last time you were on. The Lakers and their family affair with LeBron. I find it interesting that the Griffies will be in the building tonight in Los Angeles.
Because LeBron and Spring Hill didn't set that up at all. Nope.
Hey, look,
coincidence.
We had Ken Sr., Jr. and Sr. playing in the same outfield together. I was a huge Ken Griffey Jr. fan. He's actually my favorite player growing up. I love Ken Griffey Sr.'s game. Obviously, Jr. was the better player, but they played together for a year in Seattle. It might have even been a little bit more than a year, but they played together in Seattle, and now LeBron is going to play with Bronny. What would realistic expectations be for Bronny James?
Tonight, that he survives.
They going to treat him like Caitlin Clark?
Well, think about it like this: if you're Anthony Edwards and you see Bronny, how quick are you calling that ISO? How quick?
Right away.
Exactly. There are going to be guys that think that they can get their shot off against him. Again, think about Dante DiVincenzo. We're talking about a dude that's looking to make a point.
Yeah.
That dude is going to get ISO'd repeatedly. And I love Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is one of the better defenders in the league. That's a lot to ask. I do feel bad for Bronny in this sense. They are setting that kid up to fail. He should be with the South Bay Lakers, not the Los Angeles Lakers.
Right.
He should be with that. He should be with the G League team. Bring him up instead of trying to create this Kodak made for Hollywood moment. Let this kid develop, because there is something there where he's an actual rotation NBA player. It's not fair to him to put him with the Lakers and basically tell the kid sink or swim.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And if his dad is on the court with him at the same time, his dad, I promise you, is going to be staring at Bronny. And I think LeBron's player should just take one jab step out and cut back door for a dunk. Because LeBron is no way LeBron is going to be paying attention to what the guy he's guarding is doing.
See, the only thing I can see where LeBron turns all that off when he gets on the court. I do wonder the interactions when that happens a few times, where there is a defensive bust and you have Bronny busting the entire defense a couple of times. I do wonder what that's going to look like in a very public setting. Privately, I don't think it's going to end up going well for Bronny. Publicly, again, that Lakers team is an entire mess that has a play-in tournament ceiling to it. So I do have questions and concerns. And this is a team that, let me remind you, doesn't have their first-round pick and might end up backsliding into a draft lottery where they can't add any sort of talent.
Ugh. You didn't paint a rosy picture, Konata, at all. That is also the first time I called you Konata to your face, by the way.
Yeah, well, also, yes. But here's the thing. Like, you bring me on to tell the truth.
No, it's fine. I got no problem with it. No problem with it. It's all good. We need more tough love. Dave Canales could use some of that. Don't tell your fans after you drop the. Never mind. I was going to use an analogy. I shouldn't. Don't tell the fans after you play one of the worst games we've ever seen that we had a great week of practice. Don't do that. But that's just me.
Hold on. He is Mr. Sunshine and Rainbow.
I know.
You're asking. Basically, that's asking a Care Bear not to care, Adam. That's what you're trying to do with Dave Canales. Dave Canales don't know nothing but positive. He's always going to look at the positive. I don't necessarily blame him, because if you're working for David Tepper, there's a lot of negative you see. So I would focus on bite down on the positive as much as I could too. I don't necessarily blame him in that regard.
You're the man. Not a describe on Twitter. I appreciate your time, my friend. I will talk to you very soon. We had a good run. We got to the LC Elite Championship Series. It got to Game 6 and then got absolutely spanked out of it, but that's fine. Good year and more good years to come for the Mets.
House money, and I'm not sure Soto comes now. I used to think so. After that 3-run homer, I don't think he comes anymore.
All right, don't ruin my offseason already. I'll talk to you later.
Sorry.
All right, bye. It's Konata Edwards at Not a Describe on Twitter. I still think you might be right. All depends. The Yankees want to fork over another, $500 million contract. I mean, that's a lot. Yankees can afford it. Mets can afford it too, but I'm not sure the Yankees want to go there. And if you are Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets, you might want to push the Yankees number as high as possible. I'll just leave it at that. All right, we will stretch and we will place bets, which I'm trying to check yesterday. Not great. It's not awesome. We got one right. It's not bad.
I mean, I at least got the Mike Evans touchdown before he got hurt.
Oh, good for you.
He was the first one to score a touchdown.
Hey, I mean, plus 243 ends up being a plus 9.
Yeah,
So,
that's still good.
It's all right. Anyway, we'll be right back with bets and stretchings next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
NC Medicaid is for people just like me.
Adults who don't have children.
People who serve.
People who do the heavy lifting.
Child care teachers. Full healthcare coverage at low or no cost.
Doctor's visits, emergency rooms, and prescriptions.
So if you applied before and didn't get it, apply again.
NC Medicaid covers more people than ever before.
Get full healthcare coverage at low cost, no monthly fees, and $4 max copays. NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
Kamala Harris gets that everyday costs are too high. She has real plans to tackle price gouging, cut taxes for middle-class families, and make life more affordable. Her opponent's plan?
Donald Trump plans to impose what is, in effect, a national sales tax. On everyday products, it will mean higher prices on just about every one of your daily needs. A Trump tax on gas, a Trump tax on food, a Trump tax on clothing, a Trump tax on over-the-counter medication. Donald Trump's plan would cost a typical family $3,900 a year. When everyday prices are too high, he will make them even higher.
Kamala Harris, a better plan for lowering costs for a future we can afford. Paid for by FFPAC, ffpac.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. FFPAC's responsible for the content of this advertising.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, as we wrap up Week 7 of the NFL. Ravens at the Buccaneers should be a blast, and new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win the wager on tonight's game. Lamar Jackson will do something spectacular. That would be an easy win if you could bet that. So, go to FanDuel.com/AGS and make every moment more this season with FanDuel. That's FanDuel.com/AGS. For FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. FanDuel, have fun. It's football. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Psst. Hello there. It's me, your internal clock. Yes, the one you sleep through on weekends. You've probably heard my TikToks, but I'm straight up sounding the bell now. It's almost time to start applying for college. That means you got transcripts to gather, letters of rec to request, and campus tours to schedule. But hey, we've got time, and we've got CFNC. CFNC.org can help us plan, apply, and pay for college. We got this, trust me. Just visit CFNC.org to help us stay on time.
The 2024 Atlantic hurricane season is predicted to be among the most active we've ever experienced. Prepare your home now against power outages of all types with a Generac home standby generator from Alternative Power. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, helping protect you and your family. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
This is Adam Gold.
Frankly, I'm not sure that there is a sport that we could theoretically even put in the Olympics that isn't. I said bowling. Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Croquet? Lawn darts?
I'm waiting for cornhole.
Oh, there's somebody that thinks, yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
See Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria's here. Canes tonight. Talk a little bit more about them. Next hour, we'll get back to our conversation about the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Blitz CEO, editor-in-chief, Vashti will join us. Talk about this team, this coach, the situation that they're in, the inability to get anything out of their offense so far, except for the one game at the Raiders. And I don't know, we're putting together top 5, bottom 5, which we will likely do on Thursday this week. Raiders are bad too.
Yeah.
Oh,
and they just keep getting worse.
Yeah, they're well, they just picked up Ritter, the quarterback from what was with Atlanta. I guess he might have been on their. I don't know if he was on their practice squad or not.
Yeah.
But he became quarterback 4 for them. Anyway, yeah, where the Panthers are in that one win, and the performance against Atlanta seemed to be an outlier.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate.
It is very unfortunate.
So, anyway, let's we'll place bets in a bit. Right now, let's stretch.
Okay, so in case people weren't aware, we have to turn the clocks back here soon. Now,
it's not this weekend, right? It's next weekend.
No, but this article is very funny because they are saying that people, it's very specific, they are saying people start dreading changing the clocks 11 days before it happens, which means tomorrow we start the dread.
Really?
So, yeah.
11 days?
Yes.
Specific, okay.
I don't know why it's 11 days, but we have a daylight.
I started early because it was brought up in conversation yesterday.
Exactly.
And I'm like, man, I don't want to do that.
I know. I don't want to. I'm so tired. Why do we keep doing this?
I thought we were going to stop doing it.
I thought we were too. I don't know why we haven't. I really thought
Get
that
the governor on the phone.
it was. I know. What is going on? But daylight saving time is November 3rd, which does mean that it starts tomorrow. And I don't know how they predicted 11 days, but it's very accurate. So try to prepare yourself, mentally prepare yourself. Maybe have a good breakfast or something tomorrow. It also says that most people do have a sense of dread, and it's probably because of things like the sunlight blues, they call it. Didn't realize there was a term for that, but everyone knows because it's a Debbie Downer when you leave work and it's dark out. So that's one. But then it also throws everybody's system out of whack when it comes to sleeping. I don't know if you have that problem, but I definitely do. I feel it. Like sleeping's already just out of whack.
No, I have never been impacted by that ever.
Really?
Never been impacted by the clock forward or back, other than we gain a half hour. We gain an hour's sleep.
Yes,
that's
we do.
good.
Mm-hmm.
That's
that is
good.
True.
It's not a day where I'd rather have it like in a weekday.
I know.
But we gain an hour's sleep.
I know.
But in the spring we lose it, but yeah, we can get over it. Again, on a weekend you can always find another hour.
When we lose that hour, it's never like during work. It's always during sleep.
Yeah,
Have you noticed?
Exactly. So that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I'm also I don't have when it gets dark early, I don't have those issues, but they are real issues for people. It just doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Well, and I know for me, it stinks because driving at night, you got to worry about the deer out there. So when it's light out, you can at least see them when it's dark. I know. I have to drive on the other side of Canada. So also something that people might not be aware of, that they might know their team's record more than they know their retirement savings. I don't know who puts on these random surveys, but over 50% of Americans absolutely own the fact that they know more about their sports team and their record than they do about their retirement. And that could also be because maybe you don't have a retirement or it's just not doing so hot with the market. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I set aside a portion of what I earn for 401k and whatnot. Like, you're not supposed to really look at it all the time.
Yeah, it goes off into the abyss and does its thing.
I mean, as long as you're allocated, you get some advice and you're allocated in the right spots, investing is long term.
Yeah, I know. So you shouldn't look at it short term every other day.
You're right. You shouldn't be that person.
Probably a good idea for your mental while we're talking about that. Also, something last but not least that's good for your mental, usually for some, is hugs. Not everybody likes a hug, but some people do. And the New Zealand airport is telling you stop doing it. Well, at least
stop hugging.
Yeah, at least for as long as people do.
With these people?
So they have a new hugging policy in New Zealand, and they put up a sign that says, max hug time is 3 minutes. Now, what? The reason for this is because people will pull up in line, and then they'll have these long, dramatic goodbyes and hugs, and just clog up the traffic. So they are putting a nix on that and saying, no, get your hugs out before or go into the parking lot, but the drop-off lane is not for long hugs. So they actually have a 3-minute hug policy in New Zealand now. It's hilarious and sad. Someone tried to say it's, quote, inhumane, but other people are saying, no, schools need this policy for the drop-off line. So I don't know, maybe parents can agree with that, but yeah, no one likes
We need a
straggler.
hug clock.
No one likes
We
a
have a
straggler.
pitch clock in baseball, a shot clock in basketball. We need a hug clock.
That's what New Zealand's doing.
A 5-second hug clock.
New Zealand's totally putting that into the game. So, I don't know. Maybe people can put into their game our picks.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
They're always great.
Gambling is illegal in Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, so I did go 1 for 3 yesterday, and we're good with that because it's plus because it was a plus 243 Cardinals to win. Under was I don't know, it was like under 41 or something like that.
Which they weren't
whatever
anywhere
it was.
near that.
Under 44 and a half. Yeah, it was 32 points. All right, let's go. Let's play.
All right, well, tonight, literally all the hockey is going on. So the first one, got to do our Canes in Edmonton taking on the Oilers. I have to say, I think at least one goal scorer will probably be Zach Hyman because I am just so impressed with this guy. So anytime goal scorer, unfortunately, Zach Hyman plus 150.
It's all right. We don't have to.
We'll rebound.
We don't have to remember. I'm going to start in the NBA. It is opening night. The Knicks and Celtics in Boston, banners to the rafters, all of the celebration. Knicks upset Boston plus 200.
Ooh, okay. Well, on to the Minnesota Wild taking on the Florida Panthers, who we are also very familiar with. Don't really like going up against this guy when we play him, but Matthew Tkachuk, anytime goal scorer, I think is very likely for tonight. So give me him plus 200.
All right. We're going to do two futures, right? We are going to do the Knicks and the Timberwolves to meet in the NBA Finals. This is the trade that was just engineered. The Knicks are plus 750 to win the title. The Timberwolves are plus 1,000 to win the title. I am not going for Boston to repeat. So I will come up with that number in a moment while I'm feverishly researching my third and final waiver.
Well, my third and final, the Los Angeles Kings are going to be in Vegas taking on the Golden Knights. This guy, also one of their key guys. I could see him scoring tonight. Jack Eichel, anytime goal scorer, plus 145.
All right. We have Champions League football returning to the pitch today. And we also have, for one of the 3 o'clock feature games, a rematch of the Champions League final last year in which Real Madrid defeated Borussia Dortmund. I think the final was 1-0. And, man, Dortmund had so many opportunities to score early. The new Champions League format has meant a lot more high-profile matchups in, they're calling it now, league phase as opposed to group phase. And even though it has added matches to the calendar and the players hate it, and they should hate it, it is super for the fans. If you are a fan of European football, the new Champions League format was made with you in mind, because it gives us this type of matchup. Or we're going to see Liverpool and Real Madrid in a few weeks. I mean, that we would never see that in group phase because they wouldn't be in the same group. They would always be in different, almost always, be in different groups. But now we're going to see it. It is phenomenal. So in the Real Dortmund match, let's go with Julian Brandt. Anytime goal scorer for Dortmund at plus 600.
Oh.
Julian Brandt at plus 600. Anytime goal scorer. I'm not doing the Hurricanes and the Oilers. I am, in a way, terrified that Edmonton's power play is going to,
which is fair,
get well tonight. So if I could, as we close the hour, offer this key to the game for Carolina. Don't. Andre, don't. No stupid offensive zone penalties.
Please don't.
If you're committing a penalty, you better be nullifying some sort of a scoring opportunity, because unnecessary penalties. You know, Carolina in 4 games has been called for delay of game, puck over glass, dog pog 3 times already? Come on. Stay out of the box, Carolina. Wall of Sound is next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina. Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host WRAL TV's Chris Lee for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Carolina Ford Dealers. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks at every Panthers game. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
What if you could be debt-free by this January? Get rid of all that high-interest debt, pay off all your credit cards, consolidate everything into one lower payment? Hey, it's Dennis Cox. If you're ready to stop stressing over bills, you need to call Loan Pronto right now. With rates at their lowest in 2 years, this is the perfect chance to use your home's equity and save big going into the new year. Loan Pronto's got rates with APRs in the low fives, and they're getting homeowners hundreds of thousands out of their home's equity. Homeowners who do this save on average $850 a month. Loan Pronto offers a ton of options, including total refis or their Express Equity line of credit. So call now. Get a rate quote in just minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call today and you won't make a house payment till 2025. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com, free rate quote now, 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months. Hurry, sale ends October 31st, so schedule an in-home estimate at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm talking to people who think that it is more meaningful than in years past, and one of the biggest reasons why is because winning your conference championship game matters more than ever. The 5 highest ranked conference champions are guaranteed a spot in this 12-team field, and the 4 highest ranked conference champions earn a first round bye. So when we're talking about what you're playing for every week, it all matters, but nothing matters more right now than winning your conference championship, and there are a lot of teams that can still do that.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria is here. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. YouTube.com/Adam Gold Show /999 The Fan. In fact, right now I dialed up YouTube and it was on the main page. Of course, it knew me. It might not know you, but when you get to it, subscribe. This way it will show up on the main page. Like, share, tell your friends. And by all means, comment in the chat box, if you will. There's a lot of chatter there about Jackson Blake and the Carolina Hurricanes. Have I cultivated that or not? People love to talk Canes. They're good.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the only game they didn't play well was the first one, and they could have won that. I think they should have beaten the St. Louis Blues, but had a couple of lapses, and there you go. But I think tonight is going to be a great game. I think Edmonton is starting to look like Edmonton again, and the Hurricanes will have to play a certain way to have a chance. As long as they play a certain way, I think they will be fine. I will say that under Rod Brindamore, and this might show up in the Stormwatch starting at 8:30 tonight, Hurricanes are 7-2-1 against the Oilers.
Oh.
In 5 seasons. They didn't play Edmonton during the crazy pandemic Central year.
Right.
Because we only played in your division. But the Hurricanes are 7-2-1 in the Brindamore era against Edmonton. The 2 losses have come in the last 2 years as the 2 teams split the series each year, 1 game apiece. But there's a lot of goals in this game.
Yeah.
Serious. In the 4 matchups the last 2 years, the winning team has gone for at least 6.
Yeah.
Last year, the Hurricanes won 6-3. Edmonton won 6-1, which featured a Zach Hyman hat trick. The year before, the Hurricanes lost 6-4 in Edmonton and won 7-2 in Raleigh. And in each game, Andrei Svechnikov had a hat trick.
Wow.
So maybe that would have been a good bet today. Andrei Svechnikov, hat trick.
Or just anytime goal scorer, even if he doesn't do it 3 times.
Actually, I'll find out anytime for any player to have a hat trick in the game.
Right.
Might be good because Zach Hyman had a hat trick. There's been a hat trick in 3 of the last 4 games between these 2 teams.
That's saying something. Hat tricks are not easy to come by. So.
Well, they are if you're
Zach Hyman.
If you're Connor McDavid.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He's great. He's great at assists.
He has 1 goal this year.
Yeah.
1. Leon Draisaitl has, I think, 3. 3? 3 goals.
Yeah.
Same as Shane Gostisbehere, which we all had at the beginning of the season. They would be tied at this point. All right. Are we ready to do Wall of Sound?
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, we are going to start with the Carolina Panthers, and we will talk to Vashti Hurt coming up in about 10 minutes. Dave Canales, you've had a day. What about what happened Sunday?
Just a humbling film to watch, looking at all phases and the corrections, the fundamental things that we need to improve upon, and just went right to the truth of it, just looking at the film and everybody taking accountability for the different things that we can improve upon in the different areas. So, certainly in all phases, it's tough to look at the truth of what it is, but that's all we got. That's all we can do is look at those things, start with the basics and the fundamentals of it, and just take it head on and attack it again this week in practice.
Yes. Fundamentals. All right, let's move on. At halftime, I'm sure I'm not the only one who thought about this. I thought it would have been a great opportunity. Your team was dead for the day. They were not coming back to win that. Especially Andy Dalton was playing poorly. And I said this yesterday. If the team had not already moved on from Bryce Young, if fans, rather, had not already moved on from Bryce Young, everybody would have been saying the same thing. Hey, throw the kid in. Andy's terrible. It was 27-0. I thought they might do it. They might let Bryce Young start the second half. Your thoughts, Dave Canales, on the former number 1 overall pick?
Right now we're focused on the Broncos. Andy's playing this week, and that's really where our focus is at. And all those other conversations are all hypothetical conversations that, definitely Dan, Brant, that we have to have. But right now we're focused on playing the Broncos and, focus on getting Andy to take another step in terms of getting us back to good football.
Are they conversations that are ongoing, and are you a part of them?
Again, all hypothetical questions. We're focused on the Broncos and Andy.
It's not really a hypothetical question. The team, well, I guess they don't have to be transparent about it. They don't have to tell you. But it would be nice to know what the team's plan is for Bryce Young. You drafted him first overall. You gave up a lot of draft capital. And you can't, to be fair, once that trade is done, you can't take it back.
No.
You're not going to make that up. There's nobody that's going to restock your mistakes. But you got to get something out of it. And I'm baffled as to why the second half of the game against Washington wasn't.
That's why I just want to know what their goal is. So maybe some of this would make sense, because right now nothing makes sense.
I don't really think. I think Dave Canales in some ways gives away the goal, and I understand it. I'm not criticizing this, because he said it in one of the other comments that he's got to coach the rest of the team, right? And they do have to find out what pieces did they have. If the quarterback is so bad that it ruins everything, which, it sort of has been, so I get it. They have to find out, do we have the right pieces in place for whoever the next quarterback is going to be? It might be Andy Dalton anyway. So, I wouldn't be completely shocked. Dalton has to play better than he did Sunday, but I wouldn't be completely shocked if Andy starts stringing good games together if they don't announce a contract extension for Dalton for another year or 2 years, where at the very least he's your bridge to the next guy and can be a backup. Dalton's 36. He's probably not thinking he's going to be a starter somewhere else in the league.
Oh, no. You can tell this is it for him.
This is the opportunity to play. So I don't think it would be an expensive contract for Andy Dalton. Speaking of quarterbacks, 5 weeks? 6 weeks, because there was a bye week, after suffering another awful concussion. The third significant concussion in Tua Tagovailoa's career. He is going to practice tomorrow, and the Dolphins hope to have him ready to play on Sunday. I think it's against the Broncos, which maybe that's not a great idea. And I've always said players want to play. Players feel invincible. And even though once you've had a concussion, let alone 3, you get the next one a little bit easier. Here's Tua on the chances.
My entire time playing football, I've been a competitor, and that is or was sort of my edge when I would run from high school. Even in college, I would do the same thing. It's a professional setting. This is the professional level, the best of the best. You just can't be doing that. So definitely gotta stay more available for the team, for the organization, for our guys. Every time we all suit up, we're all taking a risk that we could potentially get hurt, whether it's a concussion, a broken bone, anything. You get up off of the bed the wrong way, you potentially could risk you spraining your ankle. There's just risk in any and everything. I'm willing to play the odds.
Yes, he is. And this is what players do. This is legitimately what players do. And I think everybody will watch Miami and be nervous for Tua. We'll all watch the Dolphins and go, I hope.
Yeah.
And every time he's sacked, he's going to be sacked.
Mm-hmm.
We will wonder, is this the sack that puts a lot of things in jeopardy Not just a football career.
Yeah. They're playing the Cardinals
Cardinals.
this Sunday. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know
At
if that's
home.
I don't know if that's better or not.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe make the field softer.
Right.
In Miami.
Wrap them in bubble wrap.
Well, not going to be able to do that, unfortunately. All right. Do we have a head coach problem in Charlotte? We will talk to Vashti Hurt, CarolinaBlitz.com, next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina.
Game over! Sebastian Aho wins it in overtime!
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 8:30.
Here come the Hats! A natural hat trick for Marty Natchez. 3-0 Carolina.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes. 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my man, Coach Pete Deruta, Capital Financial Advisory Group, and we are here to talk about planning for your retirement. Actually, I'm not here to do that because I am bad at it. You should have Coach Pete Deruta talk to you about it because he is the best at it, and I am going to help you get with Coach Pete for free. No joke. 888-843-0013 or text Adam to 600-700, and we will get you in front of Coach Pete Deruta for a total customized retirement plan for free. It's a $1,000 value. If you don't know me, call today, 888-843-0013. Then you can find out how to properly set yourself up in retirement so you can do whatever it is you want. So if you want to hike, you can hike. If you want to paint, you can paint. If you want to play golf, you can play golf, even if you're bad at it, because Coach Pete Deruta is great at retirement planning. 888-843-0013 for Coach Pete Deruta.
$5, that's some deal, yeah. McDonald's money, I got McDonald's money. One meal just to make me feel better. All I want to know is, can I get a hot and spicy patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow, yeah, McDonald's don't miss, yeah. Order on the app or the drive-thru quick, yeah. $5, that's some deal, yeah. I got McDonald's money.
At participating McDonald's.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling. We do the job right every time.
I'm Drake May, quarterback at UNC. Trust the team at Mitchell Heating and Cooling for your HVAC needs. Together we win. Call Mitchell Heating and Cooling today.
Contact us now at mitchellhvac.com or 919-556-5069. Train. It's hard to stop a train.
The best solutions every time.
The NBA is finally back. A new season means new ways to get into the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? Who's crashing the boards and grabbing the rebounds? Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. First time? New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Every point counts with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD with no spaces for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
This is Adam Gold.
Frankly, I'm not sure that there is a sport that we could theoretically even put in the Olympics that isn't. I said bowling. Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Croquet? Lawn darts?
I'm waiting for cornhole.
Oh, there's somebody that thinks, yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It is the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Panthers are 1-6. You know what their point differential is in the league?
I don't think I want to know.
So 133. They are minus 133 in points scored and against and allowed.
Mm-hmm.
The next worst team is the New England Patriots at minus 76.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, there you go.
I mean, it's 57 points worse than the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
But
significant.
Carolina has come to this point honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the defense isn't good. The offense doesn't help the defense out.
And Dave Canales is proud of his guys.
He's proud of his guys. They had good meetings and we had good practices.
Mm-hmm.
Vashti Hurt, who covers all teams. If you go to CarolinaBlitz.com right now, you might be surprised to see Duke football as the top story. That's where we are at this point, Vashti. Duke football is carrying the flag for the state of North Carolina in terms of FBS football and the NFL. They are the only team, right, who is above 500. The Blue Devils are 6-1. Let's get to the Panthers. What is your read on not only how fans view Dave Canales through the first 7 games of this season, but you personally, because you cover the team. What are your thoughts on where he is so far this season?
You know, this past weekend, after that atrocity in D.C., that was really the first time that I saw a large sector of fans calling for his firing, which, given the history, you know, that the Panthers have had at the head coach position under Dave Tepper, I found that surprising.
Mm-hmm.
But they were, and you know, me personally, I'm. You just mentioned it, like, oh, we had great meetings. Oh, I'm proud of my guys. Oh, we played hard. You cannot fool us into believing that that's the case when we actually watched the games, you know? And the team at times is undisciplined. There are times where they aren't, it doesn't even seem like they're trying. They're frustrated, potentially with the process. And so I wouldn't be mad if Canales, and obviously this is not his temperament, so we've been told, but I wouldn't be mad if he came out and said, you know what, I'm upset. I'm not happy with how things are going. This is not how we planned for them to go, and we as coaches, we have to do something to fix it. I don't want to hear that guys played hard. I really don't. At this point, I don't think anybody cares about that. People want to see results on the field on Sundays. And at this point, the Panthers are regressing. And who does that fall on? Does that fall on the players? I think that at this right now, it falls on coaching.
Vashti Hurt is joining us at Keep Blitzin and also at Ms. Carolina Blitz as well on MZ on Twitter. Multiple Twitter handles. One, I don't know, maybe use one as a burner. I don't know to get funny stuff out. She joins us here on the Adam Gold Show. That's what I said when I listened to the post game. I was frankly, I'm not bent out of shape by a lot of things when I hear coaches after games, but I've always thought that the audience is not the reporters, the audience is the fans.
Absolutely.
And especially where the Panthers are, you have to assure your fan base not to leave them because they are ready. They are ready for something else. I mean, if the Hornets got off to a good start, which they probably won't, but if they got off to a good start, or Tar Heel basketball, state basketball, Duke basketball, if you gave them something else to care about, they might just go care about that. If Charlotte FC goes for a deep run in the MLS playoffs, they just might go check that out right now. But I couldn't believe that Canales, after the game that was so bad, that he wouldn't, like, yeah, I don't need to watch the tape. What I saw was disturbing. We were bad in every. I was shocked that he did not offer that because that's what your fans wanted to hear.
And that's the thing. You know, I don't know if you go full dry mail and call your whole team soft, but I think honestly, Adam, I would rather hear that than what we got on Sunday. I would rather hear that. At least you recognize that what you're putting on the field is unacceptable. And like you said, fans get to see that there's some type of frustration. They need to understand that you feel the frustration that they feel. You understand the regression and you see the regression and you care. When you feed us that stuff, then people think that you don't care or you're oblivious to what's going on, and that's just not the case.
Vashti Hurt covers the Panthers and every other team in the state of North Carolina at Keep Blitzin, CarolinaBlitz.com. I thought that it was the opportunity to use Bryce Young in the second half, and they waited until the game was essentially the clock was done. You got one series. It was a throwaway series. They didn't even try really on the series. I was kind of surprised at that. I mean, I don't understand why you're running the ball on second down. It was like they just wanted to get it over with, and they did. I mean, they didn't call any timeouts. I get it. And then he doesn't answer questions about Bryce. What do you think their plan is for Bryce, if any?
You know, I've been trying to really figure that out because if I'm David Tepper, I need to know that there is a plan because we did give up so much to get Bryce Young, and I honestly don't think that the sample size that we've seen of him is enough to completely be out on him already, unless Dave Canales knows something that we didn't know. And if that was the case, why start him at the beginning of the season anyway?
Right.
Only to bench him 2 weeks later. So I hope that there is a specific plan in place. We don't know what that plan is. They aren't letting us in on anything. Do you want to trade him? Are you keeping him on the bench so that you don't decrease his trade value? Do you legitimately, are you working with him in practice to try to improve his skill set? I figured that, like you said, play Bryce the entire second half.
Yep.
The game was pretty much over. You need to know what you have in Bryce Young before this next draft because the Panthers are on a one-way ticket to the number one overall pick again. Now, there are a couple of good quarterbacks in this draft. Do you have enough information on Bryce Young to say, "Oh, we're gonna stick with him," or "We're gonna abandon him and draft another quarterback"? I just don't think so. And so that's why I kind of pressed Canales yesterday, and I asked him, "Do you understand why we're asking these questions? You want to not address it at all." But these are legitimate questions given the fact that you benched Bryce after 2 weeks, and we need to know what the plan is, or we would like to know what the plan is. And finally, he acknowledged the sensitivity of the situation, but still no insight as to what's going on. So I don't even know if there's a plan or not.
Vashti Hurt is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, you connect with fans better than anybody who covers the team. Obviously, they are frustrated. Are they frustrated? And you said it was the first time that they had expressed outwardly fire Dave Canales. I don't think there's almost anything that Dave Canales can do this year that would get him fired. I can't even fathom because we know this about the owner. He is sensitive to what people say about him, and they have been saying that he's too impetuous, too impatient. So he will not fire Dave Canales this year. They could lose the rest of their games by 30 points each. I don't think he's firing Dave Canales. But are the fans already to the point where what else is – I joked about it. What else is happening? I'm checked out of this team. Are they there already? Did we lose it? I think we lost Vashti.
I'm sorry, Adam.
No. It's all right.
Can you say that last part one more time?
Are fans at the "we've checked out on the season already" phase?
Oh, yeah. I really think that happened probably. So they had checked out after Bryce Young was benched. They checked back in after that Vegas,
right?
After the Vegas win, and then also the competitive game against the Bengals. And then after the Bears lost, I just think they figured it would be more of the same. So I do think fans have checked out, but I do think they've checked out to the point where this season is a wash. I do think they still have an invested interest into Bryce Young and what his future in Carolina looks like. And, but I'm going to tell you who they've checked out on. Ejiro Evero, which is interesting because everybody thought he was going to be a head coaching candidate. Yeah. Oh, we're going to lose Ejiro to all of these other teams. And the Panthers' defense is historically bad. Yeah. And so I think all the way around, everybody could get it from the Panthers fan base right now. It's just a combination of frustrations and an unknown direction.
Yeah, I thought the defense would be bad. I didn't think it would be the worst in the league, but it's right there, pretty close to the worst in the league, if not the worst in the league, at least statistically speaking. All right, I'm going to change the mood. Since you get a chance to cover and be in the locker room with like the two highest profile teams in this state, Duke and Carolina basketball, who do you think is going to be the most fun to cover this year?
That's hard, Adam, because I haven't actually seen. I've only been in the locker room or actually interacted with the Duke players thus far. I wasn't able to make that scrimmage because it was kind of thrown together at the last minute, and then the other exhibition was in Memphis. This Duke team, though, which I can speak to, they're going to be fun to watch. I don't know how much fun they're going to be in the locker room because these guys are straight business.
Right.
I asked Khan about a dunk, and he looked at me straight face, and I'm like, bro, like, this is your time to brag on yourself. I shouldn't have to probe you to do that. Like, you're literally a freshman in college. You should light up when I ask you about that dunk. These guys are about their business, and so I think that they're going to be fun to watch. But when it comes to like fun banter in the locker room, don't hold your breath. Those Duke guys are have their eyes squarely on trying to make a deep run in March.
Yeah, I think covering and having fun with the players is different than watching them on the court. I think Seth Trimble could have a breakout personality year as well as a breakout year on the basketball court. Seth Trimble's one to watch. He is super fun. Vashti, you're the best. At Keep Blitzin on Twitter, CarolinaBlitz.com. We'll do it again.
All right. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Vashti Hurt here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, when we come back, Edmonton, the Oilers, who played in the Stanley Cup Finals last year, dragged the Florida Panthers after trailing 3-0, dragged them to Game 7. Got there primarily on the strength of a power play that could not be stopped and a penalty kill that could not be solved. They were amazing on special teams. They're 2-4 this year, largely because their special teams have been trash. We'll get a quick preview of tonight's Canes-Oilers match next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The NBA is back, and FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, wants you to catch all the action. Adam Gold here, and right now, FanDuel is giving all users 3 months of NBA League Pass. All you have to do to catch every tip-off and buzzer beater is place any $5 bet on the NBA. You don't even have to win it. So, check it out. You can bet the Knicks to win, or you can bet the Knicks to lose. It doesn't matter. They'll probably do both. Go to FanDuel. Just visit FanDuel.com/AGS. Get 3 months of NBA League Pass, courtesy of FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. After a 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Trust ACT Construction Equipment and Bandit wood chippers and stump grinders to position your tree service for success. ACT Construction Equipment is your authorized dealer for sales, service, parts, and rentals for Bandit wood chippers and stump grinders. ACT Construction Equipment has been your authorized dealer for Bandit equipment for over 10 years. Visit one of our 6 North and South Carolina locations or actce.com for more details on Bandit wood chippers and stump grinders. ACT Construction Equipment, always the right equipment for the job.
Kamala Harris gets that everyday costs are too high. She has real plans to tackle price gouging, cut taxes for middle-class families, and make life more affordable. Her opponent's plan?
Donald Trump plans to impose what is, in effect, a national sales tax. On everyday products, it will mean higher prices on just about every one of your daily needs. A Trump tax on gas, a Trump tax on food, a Trump tax on clothing, a Trump tax on over-the-counter medication. Donald Trump's plan would cost a typical family $3,900 a year. When everyday prices are too high, he will make them even higher.
Kamala Harris, a better plan for lowering costs for a future we can afford. Paid for by FFPAC, ffpac.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. FFPAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I am Bruno Hinojosa and I live in Asheville. I work in construction and I just enrolled in NC Medicaid. I went to their website, applied, and got covered. Doctor visits, yearly checkups, and even emergency care if I need it. Being a business owner can be stressful at times, but knowing that I got covered, it just takes weight off my shoulders. And I can get the care that I need when I need it at low or no cost. And it's one less thing I need to worry about now.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Psst. Hello there. It's me, your internal clock. Yes, the one you sleep through on weekends. You've probably heard my TikToks, but I'm straight up sounding the bell now. It's almost time to start applying for college. That means you got transcripts to gather, letters of rec to request, and campus tours to schedule. But hey, we've got time, and we've got CFNC. CFNC.org can help us plan, apply, and pay for college. We got this, trust me. Just visit CFNC.org to help us stay on time.
This is Adam Gold.
I had no idea John is a Cubs fan, too.
Yeah, I think that's a prerequisite to being the head coach at Duke. I made one comment about the Cubs to Mike Krzyzewski. Goes back a while ago. Talked about the pitching staff, and he goes, yeah, but I don't trust Victor Zambrano. Like, what?
The Adam Gold Show.
Tom Gazzola does for the Edmonton Oilers essentially what I do for the Carolina Hurricanes, pre, post, podcast, Edmonton Sports Talk, at Tom Gazzola on Twitter, and he joins us as we get ready for Canes Oilers tonight. 5th game of the season for Carolina, number 7 for Edmonton, but it doesn't seem like the Oilers have hit their stride at all. Lost their first 3, needed overtime to beat Philadelphia, then dropped, they won another one, but then dropped the game 4-1 at Dallas. So where is this team? Seems like they're scoring okay, maybe not great. Power play certainly not what we remembered from the playoffs. What's going on?
A lot of special teams problems so far, Adam. That's the theme right now, especially around here, and alarm bells are going off with the fans here. That's how they overanalyze and watch and treat it. Yeah, I know. What a shock. In northern Alberta, that's how it would be. And guess what? We're guilty of it, too, in the media. But when you have a team that went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, you kind of expect a little bit more out of this team, especially with the first few games. You mentioned they were 0-3 off the hop. They weren't playing against great teams outside of Winnipeg. They lost to Calgary. They lost to Chicago. They had a close one against Philly that they pulled out when they were down a couple of goals. And then go in and add to Nashville's misery, and then play a good game Saturday in Dallas, and ultimately lose what we describe as a prototypical Dallas Stars game, where they just rely on their defense and goaltending and minimize your chances, and that's exactly what happened with the Oilers. So rough start for sure, but when you compare it to the 2-9-1 stretch that they started with last year, there's hope for it to be okay, and we all know how it ended up last year. But it's the special teams are absolutely killing this group right now, and sloppy defense, especially really early on in the first 4 games.
Yeah, you mentioned special teams. Power play just 1 of 15. I believe in the playoffs at last look, the power play was like 30 for 20. They scored more goals than it seemed like they scored a power play goal every time they had an opportunity to do so. The penalty kill, it's almost at 50%. They've allowed 9 in 20 tries. That is mind-boggling. Is that about the actual unit, or is that in some ways goaltending?
I would say it's the 4-man unit in front of both goalies, and you know what? You can't let the goalies off the hook here. You probably want to save from Stu Skinner and Calvin Pickard on a couple of them, but the execution on the PK has been pretty sloppy. There's been missed assignments, especially in front of the net. Maybe a unfortunate bounce here or there, but it's just a lack of execution. And there's been some discussion lately about new personnel on the penalty kill, and maybe a period where they're trying to adapt and get used to playing with one another. That might be the case, but 55% through the first 6 games on the PK is absolutely atrocious. And this was, again, like looking back at last year, they were essentially leaking away a goal on the PK for the first 5 weeks every game. And they found a way to up that, which is incredible considering how bad it was last year. But, it needs a lot of work. It's execution, finding their rhythm, and maybe getting that save here or there. And just it's kind of laughable. We've been joking about it. But if they can get a couple of kills and start putting together some good games, special teams-wise, especially on the PK, then I think they're going to be in an okay spot.
Tom Gazzola covers the Edmonton Oilers, Edmonton Sports Radio, the Oil Stream pre- and post-game for Oilers broadcast, Oilers and Hurricanes tonight. If this type of a stretch happened in the middle of the season, you go 6 games in a row where your penalty kill is junk, your power play goes dry, nobody really, well, I don't know, maybe in Edmonton they go nuts, but just the fact that it happened at the start of the season when you guys went so far last year only to fall short to Florida, how much of it is basically when on the calendar as much as it is what?
A lot of it is when. This is a team that people around here expected to be great out of the gates. A lot of people around the National Hockey League expected them to be great out of the gates. And I make the joke that it's like Oilers fans can't have nice things. There's always got to be some kind of turmoil before this team wakes up and gets its motor running, and we're seeing that again. And the other thing, too, is it's deja vu to a certain extent, and the fans don't want to see another 2-9-1 start to the season. They don't want to see another coaching change. They want to see this group just have a good season, post to post, get into the playoffs comfortably, feel confident about this group, and then hopefully see another Stanley Cup run. But, they stumble and trip and fall out of the gates. We joke that they listen to their own headlines and the press clippings get to them. It's like they have trouble handling success and praise and admiration, and they need to be behind the 8 ball, back against the wall, whatever cliche you want to use. For whatever reason, this group, its mental psyche collectively can't be comfortable, because when they get comfortable, they falter, and we're kind of seeing that again. But the other thing that this group can do is play its best game against some of the best teams in the league and have success. And, we're kind of waiting for this group to put it together. And I don't think they're going to struggle the way they did last year. And there's been some good signs lately, but yeah, it's the timing. Absolutely. Listen, if they go on a 2-4 stretch mid-season, there'll be noise. There always is around here. We'll pick it apart, but it's amplified because it's the start.
All right, final thing. Are we seeing Stuart Skinner or Calvin Pickard tonight?
I think we're going to see Stu Skinner. He's their go-to guy, and he hasn't had the greatest start either, but he has been better in his last couple. Gave them a chance in Dallas. And, Picker's been all right when he's been in there. Had a good start in Nashville last week, but it should be Stu Skinner against the Canes tonight.
Geez, everybody should want to play Nashville. Predators haven't won a game yet. I can't believe there are a lot of people sneaky picking them to compete for the Stanley Cup, and I'm not saying it won't happen, but 0-5 start, everybody's in trouble right there. Tom Gazzola, who covers the Oilers, at Tom Gazzola on Twitter. I thank you very much, man. I hope to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me, Adam.
All right, Canes and the Oilers, if you are local, or it doesn't really matter if you're local or not, we have the internet now. 8:30 Storm Watch. We'll get you ready. We'll talk to the head coach, talk to Trip Tracy. So many good things about this team, in spite of the fact that they're 2-2. To be perfectly honest, I have been happy with the way they have played. The first game was a dud both ways. Gave up 2 power play goals to Tampa. That was enough. But they probably should have scored more than 2 goals, even though they were no good in the game. It would have been great to have gotten a point out of that game, but they didn't get anything out of it. They dominate the Devils and Penguins. Dominate. Devils, by the way, look like a legit team, and Carolina wiped the floor with them on the second game of the season. They go to Pittsburgh and were probably better in Pittsburgh than they were against the Devils, and they were great against the Devils. And then against St. Louis, other than the second period, and I would say maybe half of the second period only, they were tremendous. They just can't make the mistakes they made. And I think they needed a better goaltending performance from Pyotr Kochetkov. I mean, I'm sure we're going to see Frederik Andersen tonight because Rod's going to use the rotation, on top of the fact that Andersen, in his career, has been awesome against the Oilers. 17-2-2 in his career against Edmonton, which doesn't mean anything necessarily. As a matter of fact, I don't think he played against them he didn't play against them at all last year. As a matter of fact, the Hurricanes needed both goalies in both games. Antti Ranta got, I think, hurt in the first game, and Pyotr Kochetkov came in. And in the second game, Kochetkov was pulled when they lost. He was pulled like almost 6 minutes in. It was already 3-0 Edmonton. As a matter of fact, John Forsland was doing that game for TNT, I think. I think he was. It was out there, and Edmonton just mowed Carolina down early. Scored 2 goals inside of the first minute. It was gross. Gross. All right, let's get to a rewind. And I guess this is it's not really a rewind. We haven't done this yet. I saw this clip from, it was on Twitter, but this is from, I think it's from NHL Network. And there's a conversation. Igor Shesterkin of the Rangers turned down $11 million a year in a contract. I think it was, 8 years the most you can do. So 8 years, $88 million. Turned it down. Leon Draisaitl, I believe, has agreed to a deal for $13 million a year with Edmonton starting next year. Shesterkin, who needs a contract starting next year, turned down $11 million. So Mike Rupp, who's been on this program before, works for NHL Network, also Sirius XM 92 or 91. 91 is the NHL channel. Agrees that he's going to be the highest paid goaltender. But how much?
He might have aspirations. I don't know what inside his inner circle they're thinking to become the highest paid player in the NHL. And I think somebody would give it to him, if not the Rangers, because he is that good.
He certainly is that good, but you just can't give that type of money to a goaltender. You play in 60 of the 82 games. Like, like that to me, like, so you're going to 20 games, you're going to have your most valuable asset not in the lineup. So listen, all the goalie union, I should say, out there, they might not like what I have to say, but I don't think goalies should be considered up in the same ballpark as the other players that are going to be available to play 82 games. So, but Eeyore's been spectacular. So whatever he does get, he will be the highest paid goaltender in the league now and probably in league history.
Yeah.
He deserves that 100%.
What do you cap him at? Just so Rangers fans can get mad at you. What do you cap him at?
I mean, if as far as his dollars, I mean, he's got to be, if he's turning down 11 a year, I'm not giving him over 11.5. I'm not giving him over 11.
That's your cap, 11.5?
I'm 11.5, yeah.
All right. So let me just jump in here. It is interesting because as a Hurricane fan, not only somebody who covers the team, and looking to see what would hamstring other teams in terms of the cap, paying a goalie even $11 million, heck, even $9 million. Jeremy Swayman was the Vezina Trophy winner last year and got 8.25, which is twice, well, not quite twice, 165% of what Carolina pays their goalies. That kind of an outlay to the one position, knowing that you need a backup, so you're going to have to tack on at least $1 million to that. And in the case of the Rangers, I'm not sure what Jonathan Quick makes. He is the backup. And that's a good chunk of your salary cap on goaltending, which means that you're going to have to figure out a way to go cheap at a lot of other positions. I hope the Rangers pay Igor Shesterkin that money, because it probably means they can't pay Alexis Lafreniere.
Sure, yeah.
Right? That's what it probably means. They can't pay Alexis Lafreniere. But Mike Rupp is wrong about one thing, because I don't care how many games, if I was looking at it from a Rangers perspective, I don't care how many games he's going to play during the regular season. Here's what I know. Is he going to play all of them in the postseason? Because the answer to that is yes. He's going to play all of them in the postseason. And that's what I really want him for. To me, the argument isn't, well, he's not going to play all the games. Therefore, by the way, Draisaitl's $14 million a year, not $13 million a year. The argument is not about the regular season. The argument for paying what you need to pay Shesterkin to keep him is, will he be my goalie every game in the postseason? And the answer to that, much like it was with Andrei Vasilevsky in Tampa, unequivocally, yes. That's the conversation. It is not about the regular season. So in that regard, I think Mike Rupp is wrong. All right, now kind of weaving back into more hockey with Mike Maniscalco, who joined us from Edmonton as he was looking on the Oilers' morning skate. So let's talk about Jackson Blake, who put himself into that conversation where Rod Brind'Amour bumped him up in the third period against St. Louis.
No, that's certainly been, the feel-good story so far of the early part of this season, and we're in the very early part of the season. But, Rod said it about Jackson Blake. He earned his way onto the team, and he did. If you go back and see how he played in the preseason, he plays the game the way that Rod Brind'Amour wants this team to play. And he's very smart. He's got let's use the high hockey IQ, and we'll get that one out of the way. But, the way he sees the game, and then the way he plays, his goal, his first goal in the NHL, I mean, that's what a veteran does, to know to dart to the front of the net, to see where Dmitry Orlov is and what he's thinking, and to get his stick on the deflection and the way that he works. So that's been a great story. I'd also like to add he's a new-ish face. We only saw him for a couple of months the first time around, but Shane Gostisbehere, I think, has been another very positive story, and you can spin that into a whole package of forget game one if you want to, throw it out, how the power play's gotten better with him quarterbacking it, and then the pairing of him and Sean Walker has been, for me, the last 3 games, a big positive for the Carolina Hurricanes.
It's been great. He's been fun to watch, noticeable all the time. He's got a couple of goals. I think we're going to continue to see him get more opportunity. I will be interested to see how Rod lines him up tonight. I will, because they ended the game with Blake playing with Kokaniemi and Natchez. For the most part, that line hasn't quite gotten me yet. I think they've had good moments, but I also think that they've had kind of where are they moments. Jackson Blake has been, I think, a good energy boost for this team. I wouldn't be shocked if Rod kept him with Drury and Robinson, since that line has been really, really good for Carolina. So we'll see what happens. By the way, you can tune in to Stormwatch starting at 6:30 and check out all of that. All right, the Charlotte FC in the playoffs, not in the wild card one match, which I think are tomorrow and the next day. They play Sunday, start of a potential 3-game series, home, away, home, and then I think away, with Orlando City. And remember where they didn't do anything last year. Dean Smith comes in, complete change in how they play. They add Tim Ream middle of the season, U.S. national team starting center back, first choice center back. And now they're looking for the energy back from the fans at Bank of America Stadium. At least one team is good that plays in that building. Our friend Will Palashik down at WFNZ in Charlotte had on Brant Bronico, who is a midfielder, has got a goal and I think 6 assists, mostly as a sub, but has started some. And he is looking for the excitement from the crowd.
I just wanted to talk about the fact the home game is on a Friday night. Can you give a pledge to the fans of why they should be there, why they should fill Bank of America Stadium on that Friday, November 1st? Perfect day for soccer, surely.
Man, it's going to be so hype. I bet it's going to be so electric. I was reading something the other day. It was like Charlotte hasn't had like a first division playoff game since 2016 or 2018. I think Hornets might have had one back then. I forget the date, but it's been a while, right? So I think this is definitely for sure something people need to be excited about. If you haven't been to a Charlotte FC game, the supporters are awesome. They're crazy. They love the team. They get the place riled up. And we'll be sure to put on a show on the field as well. And it would be awesome if we could clinch, the next round at home. So we'll focus on winning the away one, and then we can clinch that second game that puts us through. That'll be icing on the cake for everybody.
All right, the Hurricanes, rather the Charlotte FC, plays at Orlando this Sunday, and then the home match is on Friday. That was Jessica Sharman at first. Will Palashik was in the video. I watched the video, but I somehow missed Jessica. Will was there. He just was very quiet.
Moral support.
Just quiet. Mm-hmm. Let Jessica do all the heavy lifting there. But a great turnaround for them. And people don't complain about the MLS playoffs having too many teams in. Right? They had 9 teams in each conference. The 8-9 seeds make the wild card. And then if you win I think it's a 1-game wild card match. If you win that, you move on. And then I think only the first round is best 2 out of 3. And then I think they're one-offs. But I am new to Major League Soccer. I am just now kind of paying close attention, mostly because of Jessica and Will do a great job on the radio down in Charlotte with Charlotte FC. And we're rooting for Dean Smith to get those fellas across the line. All right. Tonight we have the Hurricanes and Edmonton. Also, for those of you who don't know, Tua Tagovailoa is scheduled to start on Sunday for the Dolphins against the Arizona Cardinals. And he said, basically, this is what I do. And this is what I think everybody, as nervous as we'll all be for him, We just kind of have to get over our fears, and he's going to do what he wants to do. And the team needs him, desperately needs him. And the Hurricanes, I think, need an early lead tonight against the Oilers. Victoria, thank you. Bye.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, and this NBA season, you can make everything that happens in a game, every play, every pass, every three-pointer, mean that much more. And this is how FanDuel proves they are America's #1 sports book. Because if you miss the start of the game, that doesn't mean that you missed the fun. Doesn't matter, because how about the number of dunks or three-pointers or assists in the next 3 minutes of a game? Then you can watch the clock. Instant gratification like we like.